You are looking live at Vigilante Stadium in Helena, the site for tonight's AA football championship between the Helena High Bengals and the defending champion West High Golden Bears.
It's up. It's wide good. It's wide good. Billings West is going to win the state championship in 1995. If they can run the clock out. The kick was wide.
Truly pandemonium.
It was pretty intense last year, since it was going to be our, the second time in it. And then this year, for us to repeat is pretty intense also.
Well, I think, like, the students and the teachers are having a lot more fun than we are, I mean, and they're going crazy, but for us, it's just another game towards our main goal.
Last year it was kind of expected us for us to win, but this year nobody really expected us to do it. They expected us to be, so-so team, and here we are playing for the state championship again.
We've been talking about it since we were freshmen. Everybody's got the dream of playing that state championship as a senior, and it's just probably one of the greatest feelings there is.
I don't know that we're better, but I hope we play better Friday night. I think that's the key. I think both teams are going to put excellent athletes on the football field, which you should have in a state championship game. You can't go into a game thinking you're going to overpower somebody at this time.
It's always exciting, and it's great for your kids, and it's nice to see them, improve and change and just get better every week. And it's nice to see them work hard and that their hard work's paid off.
To the Vans Electronics and Appliances pregame show. In the next half hour, we'll break down tonight's state championship game between the West High Golden Bears and the Helena High Bengals. The Bears are the #2 seed tonight, while the Bengals come into this evening's game as the #1 seed. The Helena High Bengals are in the state title game. After a 9-1 season, their only loss of the season for Billings West was to Helena in week 2, and they beat Kalispell earlier this week in the playoffs. As for the Helena High Bengals, they too are 9-1. Their only loss of the season coming midway through the season against Helena Capital. The Helena Bengals were victorious last week as they beat Bozeman, but tonight's game should have a different result than it was in week 2.
I think there is a little bit of the revenge factor, having lost, the second game of the season. That'll just motivate us even more to come back and beat them this week.
It meant a lot. I mean, once I saw the schedule last spring, I just looked exactly at that game, and I said, that's going to be a huge game, And I knew back then that CMR, West, Kalispell, those are going to be for playoff picture and for home field advantage. We thought if we can beat West, that's a huge game, because that's going to help our home field advantage, because we knew they were a great team and they were going to be there in the end.
And joining us live from Vigilante Stadium in Helena are the two guys who will have the call of tonight's game. We welcome in Andy Price and Ron Lebsock. Guys, how's everything going out there?
I tell you what, it's a great night. It's 7 o'clock, a few minutes after 7 o'clock, and the seats are filled. I don't even know if you can find another seat here at Vigilante Stadium. Coach Ron Lebsock, you coached the 1995 champion Skyview Falcons. At this time in 1995, how excited are you as a coach? How excited are the players?
Well, I'll tell you, Andy, walking in the stadium, all the hair on your body stood up on end. It was, everything was full, and people were excited, and we were excited. You're going to see two teams' ability step up another notch tonight.
Hey, can you work yourself up too much in this pregame warm-up? We're still 30 minutes away from the game.
Well, yeah, you can, but I think these teams are pretty well seasoned. They're going to take this as business as usual, and like I said, make it an opportunity to be a better football team tonight.
West High having the chance to repeat, the first time that's happened since CMR did it in '89 and '90. How big is that for West High to be able to win back-to-back championships?
Well, like you said, '89 and '90, and that team was an incredible football team with Dave Dickinson leading it. for CMR. I think for Paul and his kids out there, and for Billings, Montana, it would be a real shot in the arm for Billings. You know, these guys have worked very, very hard, and I think this team might be better than the last team.
Well, let's talk field conditions a little bit. Field looks pretty good. How about the wind? It's beginning to pick up a little bit. Is that going to be a factor?
Field conditions, like you say, are good, Andy, and I saw you out there testing it. You did a real nice job. No slippage. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, the wind, you know, looking at the flags, it could be a factor if you start hanging them up there too high. Kicking game, it might affect, but then again, it's going sideways to the field. I don't see it being too much of a problem.
All right, Ron Lebsock, you'll be up in the booth with me in just a little bit. We're going to send it back to the studio right now. We'll be back here live at Vigilante a little bit later on in the pregame show. Senior coach Mark Sulzer and KTVH News, our sports director Al Marks, will go over the keys to the game. But for now, we'll send it back to the studio with you, Lee.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you much for that report. Well, it's time to do a little business on the Vans Electronics and Appliances pregame show. When we come back, we'll take a look inside the West High offensive line. And we'll take you back to the last time the Helena High Bengals were in the state championship game. Two stories you do not want to miss. Stay with us. West High offensive line, head coach Paul Glabo filling in for quarterback just for a little bit. Kickoff time is in about 20 minutes from now. Well, the Football Hall of Fame is filled with quarterbacks and running backs. However, it's the guys up front who make the difference. The West High offensive line is one of the major reasons the Bears are playing for their second consecutive state title. As Brandon Van Cleve breaks through another hole and scampers in for a West High touchdown, he has his offensive line to thank. The Bears O-line have played an integral part in the team's success this season, and while it's usually the running back or quarterback who receive most of the publicity, the guys on the line continue to do their job.
We try hard. We practice real hard in the game. I think we work harder than anybody else on the field. So we work pretty hard, and we block for Bo, and we try to give Brandon the biggest holes he can have. And of course, he's a good running back, so he makes us look better than we probably are. But he's real good, and we try to block as hard as we can.
You kind of take it for granted for a while, but then I mean, you start to realize that they're the ones getting you the holes. And if it wasn't for that, I'd just get stuffed every time. So.
The offensive line was flawless for the 5 games prior to last week's playoff with Kalispell. As impressive as that is to the coaching staff, it's more impressive to quarterback Bo Bartik, who up until last week didn't have to pick himself off the ground since September.
We love the guys. We treat them well. They just do what they have to do to let us do our job.
Well, our offensive line, they've worked real hard, and there's 3 seniors and 2 juniors, and they've just, they've really come together and really gelled, and they really understand what has to be done, and they're real smart guys. And we haven't given up a sack in 5 games, which is amazing for as many times as we've thrown the ball.
We played quite a big part, but I don't know. We don't really have a glory position, like you say, but I don't know. We get it done up front, and that's all that counts.
The Bears O-line have been the rock in the team's success, and with 1 more game left in their season, the state title will be greatly dependent on the guys in the trenches. Well, in 1958, the New York Giants moved to San Francisco. In that same year, the Helena High Bengals played for the AA football title. As Andy Price tells us, that team 40 years ago had a few familiar faces on it.
Eisenhower was in the White House the last time Helena High played for a football title. 40 years have passed. The Bengals have had some good teams and some really bad teams. Now, they may have the best.
We've been expecting it for 4 years that we'd be here, but it's been weird. Lots of teachers that were around then or students then coming up, congratulating you and stuff.
I'm real happy, especially for our senior class. It's been a group of kids that's worked real hard and dedicated themselves to it the last 4 years, and also for the assistant coaches in our program. Marty Cloker's been here for 14 years, so he's been through the goods and the bad.
The last Helena High club good enough to be in a state championship game was sort of a star-studded club. That 1958 squad included a backup fullback by the name of Max Bacchus and a junior by the name of Cliff Heisel.
Well, I remember it was the first time since, I believe it was 1932, that Helena High had played for the state championship. There was a 3-way tie with Butte Kalispell. We won the coin flip. And, we had to go to Kalispell, and the wind was just blowing like crazy is all I remember. We got beat badly.
There have been some really down years for the Helena football team since that 1958 season. Our own Jay Cohn called Bengal games on the radio for over a decade in the 70s and 80s and remembers some of those days.
I did their play-by-play, you know, when they lost, I think, 33 in a row, and they finally beat Livy. And that was no great shakes of a team either, but, you know, they got a ride in the fire truck around town. Now, in Butte, they reserve rides in fire truck for champion teams, championship team. In Helena, just one victory, you know, get that monkey off our back, which at that point was a gorilla, but Mick Dennehy was the head coach that year.
Then in the early 90s, Tony Arnston was hired to take over the program. And in the last 4 years, the Bengals have been near the top of the AA standings annually.
He's turned this program around. I remember coming up through middle school and seeing Helena High going 1-9, 1-8, you know, winning about a game a year, and thinking, you know, I'm going to play for them one day. So I was kind of glad Coach Arnston came around. Yeah.
You know, I think as a head coach, when you finally get over there, then you hopefully think that maybe you weren't doing things wrong, you know, and didn't just missing, because we were close to getting in the playoffs, and I just couldn't quite get over the hump and win a couple of the key games. So, you know, it feels good, and again, I'm excited for the kids in our program and the people that have been following us and boosting us all along the way.
Thank you very much, Andy. We're halfway home in the Vans pregame show. When we come back, we'll go back to Helena for some more expert analysis as senior head coach Mark Seltzer and friends join us from the sidelines at Vigilante Stadium. Stay tuned. We're less than 15 minutes away from kickoff, and there are the two guys who will bring you the play-by-play, Andy Price and Ron Lebsock, in a crowded, very crowded Vigilante Stadium from Helena. Well, one guy who knows just a little bit about both of these teams is senior high head coach Mark Seltzer. Coach Seltzer and Al Marks from KTVH in Helena join us now from Vigilante Stadium. Guys, how's everything going from the sideline?
Mark's here along with Mark Seltzer, the head football coach at Billings Senior. And Mark, you played both these teams this year, and I know you've been studying all week trying to figure out who's going to win and who's got the heads up. Tell us a little about what you think about tonight's big game.
Well, I think there's a few keys. Each team has a couple keys, and West High in particular, the big thing with those guys is they got to wake the sleeping giant. We're not talking about the Adele Mountain Range, we're talking about Pat Ryan. He's a tremendous defensive football player. The last few games he's been quiet. He's been quiet offensively. I think that Helena High has some fine corners. Mergel and Birmingham are going to keep the receivers, the outside receivers from West High in check, Patrick, and the other perimeter guys. I think they need to go to Pat Ryan tonight. He's a big-time player. It's a big-time game. It's his night offensively.
Okay, now we talked about the quarterbacks earlier. Now I know West, they need to have a big game out of their young junior quarterback, Bo Bardick.
Hey, he's got a great supporting class. He's got tremendous talent. He needs to put the hype away of a state championship game, do his job, and play like he can. He also needs to kick the ball well. He's a great kicker, and when things are going well, he just kicks that thing out of the stadium, and he needs to do that tonight.
I know in the first meeting, Bardick threw for almost 300 yards, and I know that was a big game for him, but they came up on the losing end. Let's talk about the next point. I know we were talking about special teams. Mark, tell me about that.
They cannot, you know, for the Bears, they're kicking the ball to two of the best return guys in the state tonight in Peterson and Simpson. They've got two choices. They can kick the ball and cover, and they have some guys that can cover, or they can punt the ball out of bounds and things like that. If they're going to do that, they better make sure that the punter's real accurate so they don't end up netting 10 and 15 yards. I think what they'll do, though, is they'll kick it to them, and they'll try to cover, and if they have success covering, they'll do that all night.
All right, let's talk about Helena High skis. I know they haven't been here in 40 years, and last time they won a state championship was back in 1932, so obviously they're long overdue. Tell me about their keys.
Well, the first thing is be balanced. I mean, they've been balanced all season long. Flato and Simpson and Peterson, they spread the ball all over, and it forces West High to play assignment football. They've got to continue to do that. You know, it's the old saying, you dance with the girl you brung to the dance. That's what they got to do.
Let's talk about the bus. We've heard of Jerome Bettis, but West obviously has their own version of the bus.
Yeah, Brandon Van Cleve's a great one. In fact, at our all-state meetings, I'd like to put in the little guy rule that says you can't have a running back over 200 pounds, and he's a load. I mean, he's been a great player for him all season long. One thing in particular, though, is in the first meeting, he rushed the ball for 69 yards. He has over 1,300 yards rushing the ball all season long. If Helena High can hold him to less than 100 yards, they'll win the ball game tonight.
You know, Tony Arndt Johnson mentioned to me this week that he was surprised that they didn't go to Van Cleve more in the first game. They kind of got away from that, and he felt that West probably should have had him run the ball. Your third point about keeping it close.
Yeah, if they keep the game close, the longer the game goes, the more I feel like Helena High has a chance. And not that they have a chance. I mean, they can win the ball game just like anybody else. But I think the closer the game, the better off they're going to be. They're at home. They've got a senior quarterback and a great tailback in Simpson, who's a senior. They want it bad. It's been a long time for them. If it's a close game, I give them the nod.
Well, let's talk about Tyler Peterson, who is an incredibly explosive player, and he's only a sophomore. You saw him here. Tell me, what do you do to stop Peterson?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can't key on one guy too much because they're so balanced. Simpson's good, Flato's good. You know, there's some other guys that can make plays for him, but Peterson's special. I've never seen a sophomore at any level, let alone AA football in Montana, play like he plays.
Coach, what do you tell the kids before this game? I mean, you're in the locker room. You're pumped up. What do you say before a game this big?
Well, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. You can say this is the game of your lives, or you can say this is business as usual. I think both teams will say that. It's another game. It takes each game one game at a time. It's one more game, business as usual. Do the things you've been coached to do and get after them.
All right, Coach, who's going to win?
It's a tough one. I thought early in the week West High, but the closer we get, the more and more it's a toss-up. It's going to be a good ball game.
All right, we'll talk to you more throughout the game. All right, that's going to do it. Right back up to you in the booth, Andy.
All right, thanks a lot, Al and Mark. Well, when the Van's pregame show continues, we'll check out some of the other events taking place this weekend. The Montana State Bobcats are trying for their first win over the Grizz in 12 years. Stay tuned. Montana Grizzly football fans remember Chris Hepner as their savior, the man who extended the Bobcat drought yet another year. When the two teams meet again tomorrow afternoon in Missoula, it'll be the first time in a long time that the Bobcats are the favorites. But Grizzly fans beg to differ.
The kick is up, and it is good. The Montana Grizzlies have come back to win this football game.
Bobcat fans have had a year to agonize about the kick heard round the world, the one that extended the Grizzlies' win streak over their counterparts to 12 games. Don't think these cats have forgotten about Chris Hepner. They remember that kick like it was yesterday.
That's probably the biggest loss of last year, and I'd say even in the last maybe 12 years of this. You know, to be up with, what, less than a minute to go and just to lose that way was real tough.
That was a close game, and it came down hard on us, and it was in the back of our minds, you know, all spring and all summer, and now we got a chance to redeem ourselves.
A lot more than bragging rights will ride on tomorrow's game. If the Cats win, then they clinch the Big Sky title and an automatic playoff berth. If the Grizz win and Cal State Northridge wins, then the Matadors win the Big Sky, and the Grizz need to hope for an at-large bid.
They fly around real well. They're real quick. They like to hit, you know, so we're going to have to do a good job of trying to avoid quite a few of those types of things.
Their defense as a whole is a good team. I mean, they got a good unit, and I think we're just going to have to see what we can do against them, and whatever works, we're going to stick with it.
Every Cat Grizz game is important, but tomorrow's game has more riding on the line than any in previous years. And it all begins at noon right here on Q2. And another quick note to pass along. Tomorrow afternoon, beginning at 3 p.m. is your kickoff time for the Rocky Mountain Battling Bears, their first ever home playoff game, as they will take on the Central Washington Wildcats. Kickoff time is 3 o'clock. And a quick reminder, at our halftime show, join us at halftime of the West High Golden Bears and the Helena High Bengals. Jeff Lewis, your head coach for the Rocky Mountain Battling Bears, will be our guest. Well, we're just moments away from kickoff of the 1998 AA State Championship game. We're going to send you back to Helena for the opening kickoff, and a quick reminder to keep it tuned in at halftime as the Rocky Mountain football coach Jeff Lewis joins us in this studio. From everyone here in Billings, thank you for joining us for the band's pregame show. Enjoy the game, everyone.
Welcome back to Vigilante Stadium in the state capital of Montana. Helena, it's time for the 1998 AA Football State Championship. I'm Andy Price along with Ron Lepstock with the call of the game tonight. Right now we're in the middle of the Helena Bengal introductions. 40 years since Helena's had a chance to play for a state championship. And actually, maybe I want to talk about a player who won't be playing for Helena tonight as they try to reclaim a state championship, and that's a big offensive lineman that's out with an injury.
Yeah, Andy, Nick Mazonik went down early in the game last week. He's an all-stater in '97 and on his way to another all-state year. A great football player for him, Andy, and you know, it's too bad, but that's the game sometimes.
Is that a big factor?
Well, I think it's going to be a factor. You know, the tackle that replaced him did get to play in 5 games before this, so they don't feel like they're losing too much. You know, in a situation like that, on a team like this, the others just need to rise to the occasion, and so does the young man that's taking his place.
The defense is being announced for the Helena High Bengal team. This defense is going to have to stop Bo Bardick. The junior has put up numbers that are John Edwards-like. Are they going to be able to stop Bo Bardick?
You know, he's so consistent, Andy, that I think it's very, very difficult. 64% of his passes have been completed this year, and, you know, I have not seen him get shook at all. And I know another thing about that young man. I know that he's going to perform tonight. His grandmother is here tonight, and I know the person who came the farthest to see this game. His grandmother I met on the way up here, riding up here with her son and Bo's dad, came all the way from Atlanta, Georgia to see this game and to watch her son coach the Rocky players in the playoff game in Billings tomorrow. So, you know, he has an added incentive, and I think the kid's a great competitor.
Very, very busy week for the Bardick clan. How much of a factor is experience for West High? Being here last year, winning it last year.
Well, it's a huge factor. You know, a lot of the hype can really, really get to you if you don't take that energy and put it towards what needs to be done. If you're losing a lot of energy, a lot of focus on things that are going on around you in a situation like this, I don't think we've seen this many people here in Helena, Montana in one place for quite a long time. And they need to take that focus and keep it towards what they have to do on the field. I know that that Billings West has had that business as usual attitude throughout the week and talking with their coaches, and you know, that is a positive factor for them.
All right, let's take time out now for the playing of our national anthem by the Helena High School marching band. Well, it's the national anthem and 4,000 screaming fans at Vigilante Stadium here in Helena. Don't get you excited to play some football. I don't know what does.
Hey, that's for sure, Andy. These guys are, you know what's going through their minds right now, and that's that first hit. They want to get that in right now and set the tone for the ball game.
Before they line up for the kickoff, we'll pass along the officiating crew. You know them pretty well, a Butte crew. The referee, Ned Ellingwood. The umpire, Dan Mahoney. The linesman, Jack Hogart. The line judge tonight is Jerry Ogren. The back judge is Rick Rolling. And if we need an alternate, that will be Jeff Walters. Always a good crew.
This is an excellent crew, Andy. I've been, you know, we've had games with these guys before, and you know, they're here for the kids, and for the game. You know, they're here for sportsmanship and safety, and they definitely do a great job.
West High will receive the opening kickoff, and they will be moving from your right to your left when they get the ball. We've talked about special teams being very important because Helena has dominated in special teams. West is not a bad special teams club as well.
No, they're not. You know, the thing that they have to look at here in this situation, receiving this kickoff, is starting field position, Andy. In their last game with Helena High, their starting field position wasn't good all day. And I think that's one thing that they're going to try to change, is where they start with that football on offense.
All right. It is time to kick off the 1998 AA football championship between Helena and West High. Ben Chait will kick it off from the 40. Driving it down, it'll be returned by number 27, Chris Bailey, and he's found himself a little hole and out to the 29-yard line where West High will take over. 1st and 10.
Well, that was a good run by Chris. Andy, I'll tell you, in number 24 for Helena High, he did a great job in making that tackle in the open field like that. Danny Casey did a great job for the Bengals.
West High coming out on 1st down and 10 with 2 receivers split to the left side of the formation. That would be Josh Patrick and Ryan Raffato, one back in the backfield. Bardick dropping back to pass on 1st down, and he looks and he's trying to find Raffato. Raffato slipping a bit. The pass is incomplete.
I think a little of the timing might have been off there. Maybe Raffato's.
If we could take a look at the starting offensive lineup for the West High Golden Bears on 2nd and 10. We'll come back to it after this play. It's 2nd down and 10 yards to go now for the West High Golden Bears. 2 receivers up to the top. Pat Ryan, the tight end, the dangerous tight end, also on that right side of the formation. Bardick hands off to Van Cleve, a little seam off tackle, and he is going to be very close to the 1st down, picking up 10 yards on that play.
That's the big fella running to the weak side. You know, you're going to look at, you're going to see West High in this game, Andy, do a lot of formationing.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups real first. Sorry to interrupt you there, Coach. For West High offensively, you'll see Bo Bardick, the junior quarterback. His running back is going to be Brandon Van Cleve. We'll hear a lot for him. The wide receivers, Patrick Ruffato. At the tight end, Dan Russell. Pat Ryan will also be a factor. It is 3rd and 1. Bo Bardick pushes forward on the quarterback sneak. 1st down and 10, West High will be across the 40-yard line. Now the Helena defense lines up just like this up front with a player to watch, maybe 65, Tyler Maxwell. The defensive tackle led the team with sacks. They'll play 2 down linemen up, and then the 2 ends will stand up most of the time. The middle linebacker, Zach Butella, in on a lot of plays, as is number 37, the strong safety, James Ask. He likes to play up towards the line of scrimmage.
Yes, he does, Andy. You'll also see him come out in a 3-4 look, kind of a nickel defense in passing situations.
1st down and 10, and Bardick with the first completion of the game to Raffato. Raffato into Bengal territory down to the 45-yard line where it will be again. 1st down and 10. They're running the in patterns, and right now they've had it open a couple times.
Well, that was a good read by Mr. Bardick there. You know, when you're running this passing game, man, certain people are there to take care of certain people, and he found the open guy. He read the coverage well and got the ball to him. It was caught and made for a great gain there.
West High, the first penetration into Helena Bingo territory. 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. 2 receivers split to the low side. Bardick dropping back to pass, and again it's to Raffato. He is open again. Another 1st down near the 30, just short. That's really the 3rd time that they've almost run that exact same look or had that same look.
Well, they're seeing something that they can take advantage of there, Andy, and they're going to keep doing that until somebody drops back and covers that zone. They did get a little pressure on Bo this time. Number 65, I believe that's Maxwell, got in there and put a good shot on him. A real key to this game, man, is going to be how well the offensive lines can handle the defenses on the other side.
1st and 10 for the West High Golden Bears, just outside the Helena Bingo 30-yard line. Bardick giving it to Van Cleve up the middle. He rumbles and stumbles for 5 yards inside the 25, bringing up 2nd and 5. And if you can get 5 yards and 10 yards of crack right away on 1st down, doesn't hurt things at all.
No, it doesn't. There's, you know, that's a factor that Helena High is going to be worried about if they don't stop this play. That GT of theirs is a very effective play, and there's nobody who runs it better than Brandon Van Cleve.
So far, the offensive line of West High doing a very solid job on this first series as West High lines up on 2nd and 4 yards to go. The power formation, jumbo formation from West, lined up to the right side, and they're going to pitch it to Van Cleve. He cuts it back up inside the guard and the tackle, and he will have first down yardage inside the 20. Now, that's a new formation that they've put in really in the last 3 or 4 weeks, bringing Eric Brady in as like a third tight end.
Yes, they're, I'll tell you, they've come up with a new one every week. And it always seems to work for them. They're a very, very smart crew. Steve Guelph is a great coordinator for West High, and those little wrinkles that he brings into this game are going to be key.
Well, we're going to bring it out for a measurement from our vantage point. Looks like he probably has it by the nose of the football. And let's go back to that formation a little bit. When you have a Dan Russell and you have a Pat Ryan and you have an Eric Brady all lined up on the same side, you can do a lot of things with that, except including just playing that power football.
Right. You have some good hands out there too, Andy. Pat Ryan's the leading receiver in the league, and I'll tell you what, they don't hesitate to throw to him, and when he catches it, look out.
First down and 10. The march continues on. Brandon Van Cleve, 19 yards carrying on this first series. Ryan Raffato, 2 nice catches. West High mixing up the pass and the run extremely well on this first series. 3 receivers are in the formation here on first down. 2 to the low side of the field. Up to the top is Pat Ryan. Bartek dropping back to pass, looking all day long, and he's got Raffato in and out of his hands. Brett Birmingham there tipping it away as well.
Again, another good read by Bo, Andy. However, Helena High's defense really covered their zones well here. Mr. Birmingham was just a little bit coming across, and Raffato got in front of him, but everybody else was covered. That's the only man he could go to on that play.
Close to a touchdown, but not. Second down and 10 yards to go for West High. Again, 3 wide receivers are in the set. This time in the slot to the left side is Pat Ryan, who has not touched the ball yet. Dropping back to pass, and the swing pass out to Van Cleve. He's got a man to beat. He steps over the top of Birmingham, inside the 10, down to the 8, out of bounds at the 7-yard line. And that will be first down and goal to go for West High.
Andy, I'll tell you, Helena brought their pressure that time, and there's, you know, when you do that, you're going to put some pressure on the people that have to make the play. Like Mr. Birmingham there was there to make it, but I'll tell you, Van Cleve is a tough man to tackle one-on-one.
Tough for a quarterback to stop a Brandon Van Cleve. First down and goal to go at the 8-yard line is where it is marked out. West High inside the 10 on their first possession of the game, and the pitch to Van Cleve, running right, bouncing it outside. This time he is stood up by a trio of tacklers. Tyler Murray finishing off. And Jared Mergel, the little cornerback, we talked about a cornerback making the tackle, and he stuck his nose in right there.
Helena's defense did an excellent job of stringing this play to the sideline. They covered all aspects of that play, in the people coming from the inside out were inside out, and the people taking care of it from outside in were outside in, and they hemmed them in and kept them for no gain.
Textbook defense there on first and goal. It's now second and goal from the 8-yard line. Again, the jumbo formation for Billings West. Bouncing it to the left side is Van Cleve, and he only gets a couple there. Third down and 6, they ran away from the formation that time.
Yes, we had a little penetration there. When you penetrate a one-back offense, you're going to cut down some running lanes. And Mr. Justin Evans, number 58, got upfield on his man and did a nice job in making that play for the Bengals.
Talking to the coaches, they think the defensive ends are going to be critical in the play for Helena High and what they can do with their penetration. They're going to take a timeout right now on the field. Let's take a break. You're watching the AA Football Championship from Helena, Montana. Vigilante Stadium. It is third down and goal from the 6-yard line for the West High Bears. This drive started at their own 29. Can they capitalize? They throw the swing again to Van Cleve. He bounces off of one and into the end zone, running right over the top of Brett Birmingham. Brett having a little trouble against stopping him, and that is a touchdown. They score on the first series.
Yes, Andy, you know, he attacked that flat real well with Mr. Van Cleve, and you know, when that guy gets ahead of steam, it is tough to stop. He catches the ball very well. He takes it in stride and gets the backyards necessary to get it into the end zone.
That is Brandon Van Cleve's 18th touchdown of the year. His 5th receiving, very versatile. He can do it both on the ground and he can do it by catching the ball as well. Bo Bartek in for the extra point, and he gets it to go through a shank, but a shank worth 1 point. 7-0, West High leads early in the first quarter. This is the AA Football Championship. We are back here at Vigilante Stadium. West High drawing first blood, 12 plays, 71 yards on a very impressive drive capped off by Brandon Van Cleve's touchdown catch on the pass from Bo Bardick. That makes it 7-0. Actually, I don't even know if they consider that a touchdown catch, seeing as that pass was behind the line of scrimmage. A little bit of the onside kick retrieved by Zach Butella, one of the up guys for Helena, trying a little trickery here on the West High's opening kick.
Yeah, it could be, or he might have just missed it. We had that happen in our game 3 years ago, Andy. Everybody thought it was an onside kick. We were just trying to squib it down the field and ended up, we covered it up for what looked like an onside.
They'll take over at the 36-yard line, Will Helena. And we talked about the field position created by special teams. Well, again, they don't kick it to the two very dangerous return men, and Tyler Peterson and Grady Simpson. Peterson and Simpson line up in the backfield behind quarterback Kevin Flato. First down, he's going up top, and he's looking over the middle for Nate Boyd, the state 100-meter champion, unable to find it. Let's take a look now at the Helena High offense tonight. Senior quarterback Kevin Flato leads this team. Grady Simpson over 1,400 yards rushing for the Helena Bengals. And, of course, Tyler Peterson, we've talked about him all night long, the great halfback who's all-purpose. He's very good. There's a look at the starting offensive line, of course, missing Mr. Mazanik, who was injured last week. It is now second down, 10 yards to go. Helena with many formations that they'll show you. In motion is Peterson. They're going to run a little bit of the option. The pitch left to Peterson. Great penetration by, or great pursuit by Eric Brady. He turns it back inside, and Pat Ryan makes a tackle.
Yes, they did a great job. I tell you, West High's team speed is incredible. Defensively, they get to the football and make the play very, very well.
Here's a look at the Golden Bear defense, a very talented group. In the last 6 weeks, they have been dominating their AA opponents. Leading the way tackle-wise is, of course, Pat Ryan, the great linebacker, headed to a Division I college. Eric Brady leading the team in sacks, and tied for the team lead in interceptions, Chris Bailey, and sophomore Kendall Sale at the free safety position. Third down and 8 yards to go. On the rush is Justin Bickham. He forces it to Josh Balster. The throw back across the middle and almost picked off by Brandon Van Cleve. Great penetration by the West High defense.
Yes, very good penetration, Andy, but you also saw another thing on that play, and that's the versatility of Mr. Flato. I tell you what, he had two people bearing down on him, and he, had the insight and the physical ability to, carry the play out and try to make something happen.
Brandon Van Cleve with the near interception, and we'll talk more and more about Kevin Flato the rest of the night. This is a quarterback who's probably overlooked amongst the top AA quarterbacks in the state. The first punt of the night by Brett Birmingham. He's going to kick it to a duo of West players. It's Bailey and Van Cleve on looking to return it, but the punt will be down at the 23-yard line. West High will take over. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left to play in this first quarter. West leading 7-0 as they scored on their opening drive. As I said before, 12 plays, 71 yards. They did it with a nice methodical drive.
Yes, they did. Well, it's 30-some yards on the punt there, Andy. Both these punters on both teams average about 35. So, I think they're looking to maybe keep those returns down on both sides. That's going to be a factor in this game.
Field position always critical in championship football games, always critical in every football game. 1st and 10 for West High, 2 receivers to the top. The play fake to Brandon Van Cleve. Bardick rolling to his right and throws over the top of a sliding wide receiver, and we have a late penalty flag. We have a flag on the play right now, and take a look at it. It's kind of a late flag from a late angle on this one.
It looks like an illegal man downfield, Andy. I don't know. Or
a play that was slow developing.
Yeah, anything that's slow like that with a little roll, those linemen only get 2 yards, so they have to make sure that they're back there in a position to stay out of that area.
Let's go down to the field right now where KTVH Sports Director Al Marks is standing by.
All right, hey, down here on the field, I talked to the head groundskeeper just a few minutes ago. He told me the field tonight is a pretty fast track for this time of the year. It's a bit hard, but he says it's pliable and the players can get good traction. He said, watch out in the second half. He says it's going to get churned up and it could turn into a bit of a mud track. Back up to you in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Al. We'll be heading down to Al Marks periodically through the game as will be telling many of the stories from this AA championship game. And here at Vigilante Stadium, the first time in 40 years that Helena High has played in a championship game, there are plenty of stories to tell. First down and 15 yards after that, an illegal man downfield. And they'll give to Brandon Van Cleve, busting it off the left side. The stiff arm gets him out to about the 29-yard line. And that will be a gain of about 9 yards, 10 yards on that play.
Yes, they're going to be sitting second down and 4 exactly where they want to be. You know, the thing about this Helena defense, though, Andy, they're going to stiffen up sooner or later. The thing about these guys, you know, you're looking at a lot of East Helena people here, and they're very proud of their hard work ethic and their toughness. And what they're doing now is seeing a great football team come into Helena, and they're going to step it up here.
Second down, again, the give to Brandon Van Cleve, bounces off of one of his offensive linemen, runs over 2 tacklers and down, or across the 40 to the 42-yard line before he's finally brought down by Jared Mergel, along with a couple other players, but it's first down. And Brandon Van Cleve right now is churning up the yards for West High.
He's a freight train. Not only that, but his offensive line up front are getting very good position on those defensive people and maintaining that position. And that's going to make for big plays on the ground.
The offensive line, of course, a couple weeks ago was our KTVQ Athletes of the Week. Well deserved. They went 5 games without giving up a sack on Bo Bardick, and right now they're playing well. Fumble on the snap, and it's a mad scramble underneath the pile, but it looks like it's going to be
West High recovers.
West High recovers, but it'll be about a loss of 1.5 yards on that play. If one of the first big mistakes, and of course, Coach, in this championship game, it's mistakes. The team that makes the fewest mistakes wins the football game usually.
A lot of the time, Manny, that's one of the very, very key factors in any football game, and especially in a championship football game where you're so evenly matched.
Second down and 11 yards to go. 3 receivers in the formation. In the slot will be Josh Patrick. He broke the school record at West High with 10 touchdown receptions this year. Straight back is Bardick. Great rush by Butella. The throw is long, almost picked off by Jory Lamping, right in his hand, but he's unable to make the play.
That's 2 opportunities now for Helena High to create some momentum for themselves. However, you know, you're looking on the fumble, no gain. The knockdown of the pass also creates momentum too. You know, they're stopping the offense in this situation. We have a 3rd and long. West High has to come up with a big 3rd and long play.
Jory Lamping, a great safety for Helena High, having the chance to get the pick, but almost screened by the wide receiver jumping for that ball on that one. Yeah. 3rd down and 11 yards to go for West High right now. 2 receivers in the set to the left side. Bardick dropping straight back, delivering to Raffato a little bit behind him and through Birmingham's hands as well. And West High will be forced to punt on 4th down and 11. Again, it's that same little in pattern to Raffato.
Yeah, you're seeing a cover 3 by Helena High, and the Bears are trying to come in underneath that thing between the linebacker level and the secondary level, and they're getting there. They're just, you know, sometimes that seam isn't exactly the way you want it. And he had to throw it a little behind him.
You look at the replay there. Birmingham almost made a great play on that interception, tried to cradle it in off the tip of Raffato's hands, but it did hit the ground. Let's take a look at the punt now. From Josh Patrick, and he's got the 2 guys back, and it is Grady Simpson taking it at the 29, and there they cover the punt return very well. No gain for Grady Simpson. Helena High will take over at about the 30-yard line, 1st and 10, and that's one of the keys of the game right there.
Yes, great coverage by West High School. Matt Whalen down there very quick to make that tackle, and he's a very sure tackle. Matt did a great job in their last game up here in Helena. Everything that came to his side that I saw, he shut down. He's the kind of kid I don't think you want to go after if you're Helena High.
Helena takes over now, their 2nd possession of the game. They went 3 and out the first time they had the ball. This time they go with the fullback in the set, Butella, with Simpson, the big power halfback, bouncing out for 3 yards. And that's the interesting thing about Helena. They've got umpteen formations and umpteen different schemes that they can run.
They do. They run the ball well. They can run option. They can short pass. They can long pass you. They'll screen you to death. You know, so you got to be really on your toes. As Coach Seltzer said, you got to play assignment football. And that time, again, Matt Whalen on the tackle, doing his job.
2nd down and 7 yards to go for the Helena Bengals right now, with the time winding down in the first quarter. 4 minutes, 23 seconds to play and counting. Just the fullback, Butella, in the backfield. This time the motion goes to Peterson, and Butella getting the belly handoff, and he gets the 1st down inside the 41. He doesn't get very many carries.
No, he doesn't. That was a nice trap play inside by Helena High that got him the first down. And, you know, it's real key on your trap plays that your timing is good. Here comes the guard, pulling, kicking out. Butala has a little bit of trouble on the handoff, but he gets her and gets upfield.
And he gets the first down, the first down for Helena, and that's always important, too. You're trying to get involved in the game and trying to keep the momentum up, and they've got their first down. 4 wide receivers in the set. Flato dropping back. The ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. It looked like Eric Brady might have gotten his big paw up there, his big Golden Bear paw, to knock that one down. It'll be second down.
Eric has some big paws, and I'll tell you, that's a real plus for these teams that are out there now, is they have some size at the ends. And if you're going to throw that hitch pattern, you got to make sure their hands are down.
Flato starting the game 0 for 3. I don't know if it's probably too early to say, a little shaky, but you would I bet you Coach Tony Arston wants him to hit here pretty quick if he can.
Well, he's 58% on the year, Andy, and I'll tell you, he'll pick it up. You'll see.
The pitch to Grady Simpson left, almost making the play as Whalen, but he strings it out enough that a couple other guys could get there, and it's only about a 3-yard gain for Simpson.
Exactly. Defense is something that, you know, it's a team game. Defense is more team than anything in the game of football. And all those guys out there getting after this play. There's Whalen and Ryan getting a hand, a big paw on that guy. And I'll tell you, you know, when that Ryan hits you, whether it's one hand or his entire body, he's going to make it happen.
Third down at 7 right now for Helena. It's 7-0. West High leading with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in this opening period of the AA Football Championship 1998. Big third down play right now for Helena. They've got 4 receivers in the set. Coming in motion is the running back, Grady Simpson. Flato dropping back to pass, and he's looking, and he finds Mike Hova, but the ball is tipped and deflected, picked off by Matt Whalen. And he has a first down for West High just inside their territory at the 48. And there's another deflection, and Matt Whalen's able to make the play.
Hey, that's 3 picks in 2 games for this young man. I'll tell you what, he has a nose for the football. He keeps the receiver in front of him. He slips a little bit. The receiver does not get that handle on the ball, and Mr. Hoven is going to feel bad about that one. But, you know, it's now time for the defense to step up. This is a momentum changer, Andy.
Mike Hoven missing the play there. The pickoff by Matt Whalen. We'll talk a little bit about Matt right after this play on 1st and 10 for the Golden Bears. Right down the middle of the seam is Pat Ryan. Bardick to Ryan to the 20, to the 15. He drags 2 guys down to the 11. Finally brought down by Mergel and James Askin. We've talked about Pat Ryan, and we finally see him on the offensive side.
Yes, we do, Andy. Coach Guelph made the perfect call in this situation. They formationed them. They've taken their speed guys outside. They put the big fella up inside, and you know, he's going to catch everything that comes to him. And not only have they taken that interception and made momentum out of that, but they are creating a landslide here.
First down and 10 from the 12-yard line to give to Brandon Van Cleve. He finds a hole and takes it inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line, and the offensive line really is creating some nice openings for Brandon Van Cleve.
You know, again, the trap by West High. Those guys are getting position up front and maintaining it. It's going to be a long night if they can't stop Mr. Van Cleve. And I'll tell you what, I don't know anybody who's stopped him yet.
5 yards on the play. Second down and 5 yards, and the give again to Van Cleve. Same looking play. This time he bounces it to the outside, and he's going to carry 2 or 3 tacklers. Finally brought down inside the 2. That's going to be first down and goal to go. At least it looks from this vantage point. And they came right back to that play that's been pretty successful.
You know, Andy, if West High keeps this kind of football up, they're going to wear these guys down real quick. Helena High is, you know, having a lot of trouble getting to that man before he gets any steam going, and he's making some big plays.
When you see the defensive backs making a lot of tackles, that's not a good sign either. First down and goal to go. Bo Bardick trying to sneak it in. The push by the offensive line, and there's a signal. Touchdown. Bo Bardick on the quarterback sneak, and it is 13-0. And we are still 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. It's just power football right there, Coach.
Yes, it is. You know, you can come up in this situation and try to get them on the count, or you can come up on a quick count or a long count. And West High came up right off the bat and got her in. Their offensive line is controlling this football game.
West High dominating the first period of football in this 1998 AA championship, 13-0. Bardick, who scored the touchdown, will drop back now to try to kick the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. 14-0. West High leads. 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter of the 1998 AA championship.
Score one in the remaining first quarter.
Back at Vigilante Stadium, 1998 AA championship here, 14-0. West High leading, scoring for the second time this quarter. This was Bo Bardick on the 1-yard run. 4 plays, 52 yards after the interception by Matt Whalen, setting that up. The squib kick, and it looks like a free ball, and it's going to be falling on West High Helena High's number 42, making the play right there, John Hammond. The 5'10", 175-pound junior making the play there, and you know, that's almost another big mistake that Helena made there.
Yeah, it is. He saved an opportunity for West High to really take over this football game.
That could have been a crushing
ball. He got
ball.
on it. Yes, he got on it. It's their football. Now Helena High needs to pick this game up and make something happen with this drive.
Well, Coach, take me back a year. Last year, West High fell behind 21-0. They were able to overcome. Does Helena have that ability?
Oh, I think they do. Yes, they have the kind of speed and the kind of tools to drive the football. You know, 14 down, that's not that bad. You can get that thing down the field, stick it in. It's 14-7, and you're still in the first quarter. You know, that kind of a play there is a safe play. I don't know that Helena is going to be able to stay with the safe plays. I think they're going to have to open it up a little more here.
Zach Butella with that 2-yard carry. That's the second time they've gone to the fullback, and watching some game films on Helena will be coming into this game, but they did not use the fullback a lot in carrying the ball or getting the ball to him on the throw. This time they give it off to Grady Simpson. He's going to be met by Brandon Van Cleve, a gain of 3 yards, setting up 3rd down and 5 yards for Helena. This time it's halfback against halfback. Brandon Van Cleve can also play a little defense as well.
Yes, he can. You know, the fronts of these teams are really battling it out up front, and right now, when you got your linebackers getting to that football yard deep or 2 yards deep from the line of scrimmage, those people up front are doing the job.
It is 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. One name we haven't called for Helena yet is the sophomore Peterson. Maybe this is the time where he gets into the play. Flato dropping back, looking for his first completion, throwing the screen pass out to Grady Simpson, brought down by Tyler Perch, and Chris Pross making the great tackle there. And the 2 defensive backs coming up and sticking a pretty tough halfback to tackle.
Well, I think it was a good idea by Tony here. They ran the double screen look. Mr. Peterson out there in the right flat looking for his screen there, and he went to Simpson on the other side. However, a missed block on the edge there caused the Bengals to get this ball off in a punt formation.
Birmingham is back, standing at his own 15. He punts it at about the 19, and Chris Bailey's going to let it hop at the 40. And Helena will knock it down there at about the 42. That is where West High will take over. And that is the end of the first quarter, 14-0. The Billings West Golden Bears in search of their 2nd straight state championship, leading Helena at the AA state championship.
Andy, we had a
back
big
at Vigilante
play.
Stadium now. The second quarter just underway. 1 play has been run. Brandon Van Cleve stopped in the backfield for a loss of 1 yard. The Helena defense trying to fire up this team right now, trailing 14-0. West comes back with that power set, Ryan and Eric Brady. This time they run it to the left side, and Brandon Van Cleve stacked up again by Zach Butella.
And now we're seeing a little change here, Andy. We're seeing the front by the Helena Bengals getting a little more push on that offensive front. You saw 2 plays. First play, Tyler Murray stepping up, linebacker making a big play on Brown, and this time Zach Butella. Again, just like we saw with West High, it's a game of fronts.
Well, if Helena wants to get back into this game right now in the second quarter, this is a great place to have it happen. 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Eric Brady this time split way out to the right side. 3 receivers in the formation. Ryan running in motion and then picking up Lamping on the blitz, and the throw out to Brandon Van Cleve. He gets 11 yards, which looks to be a first down, but I see a flag thrown down right over here on the left side. All right, let's go back down to the field now with Al Marks.
coach?
All right, we're with
We'll
Ken
have to wait
Stuker,
and
the
see
principal
what-
from Helena High. Ken, tell us about the excitement this week with Helena High returning to the state championship.
It's been really exciting. The kids in the school have been hyped up about it, and we have such wonderful kids and coaches. The atmosphere has been just fantastic at school. Parents have been supporting. It's just one of the nice things about high school athletics. So much fun for the kids.
All right, well, let's hope the Bengals come back, huh?
They will.
All right, back up to you in the booth.
A costly penalty for West High, erasing a first down on the completion from Bo Bardick to Brandon Van Cleve. It now will set up 3rd down and 15, actually close to 16 yards to go. West High going back to the small set with the wide receivers. Now Josh Patrick and Ryan Raffato split out to the right side of the formation. Bardick dropping straight back, got all day to throw, and he's looking right down the sideline to Patrick, just over the outstretched fingertips of Josh Patrick, but he had him.
They did have him on the swing. You know, we're seeing a little change in Helena's attitude on defense here. The last couple plays, they've been in sort of a nickel coverage, which I think West High knows what they want to do with it, but it ended up costing them 5 yards in a formation situation. And that was just a situation where the ball was a little bit overthrown. However, Mr. Birmingham was there for the Helena Bengals.
All right, 4th down. The West High Golden Bears forced to punt back deep. Tyler Peterson, Grady Simpson, Josh Patrick. Will he kick it to him or will he not? A little discussion now on the sideline. I guess they want a clean football. That one caught one of the mud puddles down here on the sideline. The grounds crew did an amazing job with this field. I was walking around down on the field before the game. As much snow as they've had here, this field is in perfect shape right now.
You're right, Andy, and I don't know if that's the kind of a situation you want to kick to Peterson or Mr. Simpson in.
There's a snap, and there's going to call a movement on Pat Ryan.
He got out of there a little bit early. I don't know if he got out of there early or if he just got out of there real quick compared to everybody else.
Actually, the first time they punted, he did the same thing, and they didn't flag it. This time, it looked like there was some motion.
Yeah, it could have been.
Before the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That'll move it back 5 yards, and in this game of field position, this could be a big penalty right here. West High now at the 32. That'll back Patrick back up inside his own 20. Standing at about the 32, 33-yard line of their own territory is Simpson and Peterson.
Yeah, this gives your punt return team a lot of different opportunities now. You can do several things. You can try to block it or you can return it, or in this case, make a good fair catch for good field position.
You can tell Tyler Peterson for a second there was thinking about taking it back. At the last minute, he decides he better fair catch that thing because a couple Golden Bears were breathing. Down up to the top, Justin Wiggin down to the bottom, and it is a look in the option, and this time Flato will keep it himself, going back up the middle, gaining 2 yards. And you talk about the team speed of Helena. You've got Nate Boyd, the state 100-meter champion, and then you've got a sophomore, Tyler Peterson, who was also a placer in that race as well.
Yeah, he took 4th in state in the 100. He was also on that relay team that took state. You know, those are the kind of guys you want to get the ball to, and that read didn't allow it.
2nd down and 8 yards to go. 3 receivers in the set. 2 running backs, Peterson and Simpson. They give it to Simpson up the middle. He's got a huge hole. He cuts back. He's tripped up by Kendall Sale in the Bear territory down at the 42-yard line. If Sale doesn't get a finger on him, that could be a touchdown.
Yeah, Kendall saved a touchdown there for the West High Bears and getting that hand out and tripping Grady Simpson up because nobody's going to catch him. He's gone after that.
20 yards on the play for Grady Simpson, the biggest play of the night for the Helena High Bengals, and they are into Golden Bear territory now at the 43-yard line. 1st down and 10. They give it, the fake to give, and running the option is Flato. He hits, they're going to say the ground caused the fumble. The ground caused the fumble as Flato outstretched trying to get an extra yard or 2. And they'll keep possession of the ball and a gain of 5, maybe 6 yards on the play.
Yes, it did, Andy. And I'll tell you what, I think we're going to sign you up as our defensive coordinator. You've called this game very well so far. They've come out this series with the option, and they're running it very well, putting themselves in a 2nd and 5 situation, which is conducive to the option attack.
We are under the 9-minute mark of the 2nd quarter. 14-0. West High leading this state championship game. The Bengals with their best attack so far of the game. In motion, the sophomore, Tyler Peterson. the give to Simpson, but there was motion in the backfield as well, and I think we're going to see a 5-yard penalty on Helena.
Somebody got off a little earlier up front, I think, Andy. And that's a Helena High's first penalty, however. We're looking at that penalty edge being 15-5. West having 15 yards go against them, Helena 5. But again, if you're going to run the football, 5 yards is a lot of yards.
Sometimes it's penalties in key situations more so than just penalties, and now when you've got some momentum and force back to a 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 5, that could be
On
big.
the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Well, now you're 2nd and long, Andy. What are you going to call here?
I think I've retired as the offensive coordinator right now. They brought in more of the power package as Zach Butella. Butella in the lineup as the fullback. Grady Simpson is the halfback. More of a power formation. They give it to Simpson, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage, setting up 3rd down. Nice play there by number 56 for West High. Great stop up front.
Well, it was number 66, Kevin Cicero.
I'm sorry about that. I hate to do that.
Yes, he felt that trap coming, and he got around his man well enough to make that play. It was a little bit late developing in the backfield, and he did a nice job on that. Kevin Cicero, just a junior.
All right, it's a big 3rd down and 10 yards to go now. 43-yard line of West High. Can Helena convert on this 3rd down and keep this drive alive? Flato dropping back off the play action pass. He looks and he finds the tight end, number 89, but it is incomplete. 89, the starting tight end tonight. That is Brandon Hernandez. 4th down and 10. Let's go back down to the field now with Al Marks.
All right, joining us is Lou Morris, the activities director at Billings West High School, and Lou will be retiring after 37 years at West. Lou, I think you'd probably like to go out a winner here, huh?
Yes, I would. It would be really great for me. We waited 37 years to have a championship last year, and it's kind of nice to be in that position again. Our kids have worked hard, and our coaching staff have worked hard, and we're really happy with the way we've been doing developing, and I like the looks of things so far anyway.
All right, well, thanks, Lou.
You bet. You bet.
Thanks. Back up to you.
Thank you very much, Al. And the punt kicked out of bounds just outside of the 20. The 22-yard line is where West High will take over.
You bet. Hey, Lou Morris, what a guy. You know, for so many years, he's been doing things for those kids out there at West High. Positive motivator. He is in it for these kids, and it really shows.
7 minutes and 42 seconds left to go in the 2nd quarter here at the AA State Championship. West High leading 14-0 with the ball at the 22-yard line. 1st down and 10. Bardick's dropping straight back, and he finds Raffato on that same play. He's got a seam to the 50, to the 45, dragged down at the 40-yard line, and Bo Bardick has all day to throw, and he's able to find his wide-open receiver.
Yeah, he has found the seam. You know, they're making that under coverage go out there and cover Mr. Van Cleve in that flat. And those linebackers aren't getting deep enough. Rafato's getting in front of the coverage and making some great catches. And that's a heck of a pass by Mr. Bardick.
Brian Rafato's name wasn't called a lot in the first few weeks of the season, but boy, he has really been a big factor in this West High offense down the stretch. 40 yards on that pass completion for Raffato, setting up 1st down and 10. And again, Bardick with a little time to throw. Finally some pressure, making him roll right. And Bardick throws it upfield, and that will just be out of bounds. A nice, just get rid of the football, I guess is what you say right there.
I think he wanted to get that to his tight end up the middle seam there, Randy. They got the free safety moving over a little bit on the hash, and he came open, but the pressure up front caused him to run out of there and try to make that play in another way.
Bo Bardick, 6 for 11, 125 yards. He also scored 1 touchdown on the 1-yard quarterback sneak, so a good day from the junior. Coach Mark Sulzer said he would be one of the keys, and so far that has panned out. We've got 2nd down and 10 yards to go now. 2 receivers to the bottom side of your screen, and a missed connection on the snap, and this one will be recovered by Helena High. A big turnover. That's the 2nd time that has happened tonight. This time Helena capitalizes.
Yes, it is, and I'll tell you what, their offense ought to be fired up. Get ready to move the football.
Here's a look at the play. Justin Evans coming in, the defensive end, with the being able to fall on the football there for the first big turnover of the game for Helena High, and they take over at about the 39-yard line, and turnovers could cause a swing or change of momentum. We'll see if it happens right now as Helena gets that one, as West High maybe could have been looking for their 3rd score of the game. 1st and 10 for Helena. The give to the sophomore, Tyler Peterson. Not much running room out. Helena High.
I think that might be a good way of attacking this defense. But again, regroup again and get ready to go.
Tyler Peterson, just his second carry, 3 yards on the day for the super sophomore. That sets up second down and 9 yards to go.
Well, football is a game of angles on defense, Andy. West High's taking great angles to the football.
2 backs in the backfield, Peterson and Simpson. 2 receivers are split out. Plato dropping back, and he throws it out to Nate Boyd. Nate Boyd catches it and crosses midfield down to the 40, down to the 35-yard line. The speedster getting a little bit too much cushion, maybe.
A little too much, especially for that kind of speed. He made a great catch by Nate Boyd, a great pass by Kevin Plato. A little bit too much of a cushion, and he gets upfield quick. Watch the acceleration on this kid. I tell you what, you can see why he won that 100-meter dash last year. Again, a great tackle.
21 yards on the completion from Plato out to Nate Boyd, and it sets up first down. He stepped out of bounds just inside the 37-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Helena Bengals, and they give it to Peterson. Looked like he had a seam, and Tyler Pertz comes up and lays a little hurt on Tyler Peterson.
Yeah, the trap didn't quite open up exactly like they wanted. He had to take it a hole outside because Mr. Van Cleve was in that hole. That's what I would do.
We talk about the cornerbacks making the play, but it was the linebacker who filled the hole that caused that play really to go nowhere, and it did go nowhere.
He forced it to go outside a little bit. You know, you don't want to get that ball upfield too quick if you're on defense.
Second down and 10 yards to go. Helena trying to generate a little excitement here in front of the hometown crowd. This time they throw it out to Justin Wiggin. He dives and makes the catch in front of Chris Bailey. That's a gain of 5. Nice catch by Justin Wiggin.
Chris Bailey almost timed that play perfectly to pick the ball off. However, it was perfectly thrown, and Justin Wiggin makes a great catch here.
5 to go. The split ends for Helena at times during this season, and Boyd and Hoban and Wiggin have been big and come up with the big plays in recent weeks. Coach Arnson said, well, we didn't get them involved as we would have liked to, and then maybe tonight we're going to see them kind of reemerge in this offense.
Well, they have 2 in the top 10 in the state, Andy, as does West High. There we go, a little more option there.
Right up the middle.
First down, looks like he might have it.
Grady Simpson right up the middle, and that looks like it's going to be very close to a first down.
I'd say he's got it by a couple inches.
Just the straight dive to the to Simpson, and Simpson's a halfback that has the ability to run like a fullback.
He does. He puts his pads down well, and he has good power too.
Take a look as they stretch the chains right now. Ron's already made the call. Oh, they say it's a first down. That would be by the nose of the football, right?
Maybe by 2 inches. Maybe 1.5 inches, Andy. I don't know.
Big first down for Helena High. 5 minutes and 14 seconds left to play in the second quarter. They're trying to cut the deficit at least in half, and maybe even a little bit more if they could get some points on the board. They're down 14-0 right now.
I think they're doing a good job of giving it to the people who've got them here. Grady Simpson set the school record of 444 yards this year, and you know, you can trust him with the football.
2 backs in the backfield for Helena High. The fake to Simpson, the pitch to Peterson. He's got the outside.
Look out there,
20, 15. Look at the speed into the end zone. Touchdown, 27 yards for Tyler Peterson, the sophomore. They run the option to perfection there.
Hey, I'll tell you what, this kid handled the pitch well. First off, Justin Plato reads it very well. But you get that kid in an open field, and look out. He does it every single time. 88 yards last week, Andy. Here comes Plato, reads, makes the pitch off of the read. He's got 3 or 4 steps on the pursuit here, Andy, and you're just going to have to say goodbye. A great block downfield by Nate Boyd, and he gets her in.
And Chait hits the extra point. That cuts it in half, 14-7. Helena High's back in this ball game. You're watching the AA Football Championship from Helena, Montana. 14-7, we have ourselves a ball game right now here at the AA Championship. Helena High scoring on the 26-yard run by Tyler Peterson. He has beaten teams all year long, and he helps Helena get back in it. The kickoff this time fielded, dropped and fielded again by number 11 for Billings West, Josh Winia, and he brings it back mishandling the kick a little bit. He takes it back to the 20, so they'll take over 1st and 10 from there.
Well, Andy Benkayette has one heck of a leg. This kid can really boom it. He's an East Helena boy, part of that East Helena connection. And, you know, those long kicks are hard to handle in this kind of a light situation. And they got the, you know, their coverage was excellent.
West High with 1st and 10 from their own 20. Brandon Van Cleve, as usual, the only back in the backfield. And he will get the handoff from Bardick, and he is wrapped up by Butala, Tyler Murray, and Cole Brills, the other outside linebacker on the bottom of that pile. Not much doing for Brandon Van Cleve right there.
Well, we're seeing that defense for Helena High getting off the ball a little bit better than they did in that first quarter. Like I said before, Andy, it's the front that wins the game for you, and you're seeing a little bit of that tide change here.
The Helena fans surely back into this game to give to Van Cleve, and he's got himself a lot of running room, and he barrels out to the 36-yard line. That'll be a 1st down, gain of 15 on the play for Brandon Van Cleve.
A little bit different scheme by West High there. They didn't just try to position him, Andy. They're getting off the football and stick him in the mouth on this play. And I think that if they could keep that kind of a game up, they won't have any trouble moving the ball.
Brandon Van Cleve, his 13th carry of the game, 62 yards. He also has a touchdown. 1st and 10 from the 36. Van Cleve, a little fumble on the, or juggle on the handoff. He's able to corral it in and only get 2 yards before he's brought down by the middle of the Helena High defense.
Yeah, that can cause your timing to mess the play up a little bit. Again, they're coming off the ball hard. It's not a position situation. They're getting after them and blocking the man, and you're seeing some change again. Maybe it's going towards West High again. You'll see these kind of things happen throughout a game, Andy.
3 minutes and 22 seconds left to go, and there's a little jump in there by Tony Lamping. He gets caught in the neutral zone, and that'll be a free 5 yards, I think, for West High.
Yeah, Tony was listening to the count that time. He needs to watch that football and get off on the ball. Bo Bardick got him on the count.
That makes it 2nd down, 3 yards to go. As I said before, 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Encroachment by the defense, 2nd down.
3 minutes and 20 seconds left to play here in the 2nd quarter. West High now across their 40 down to the 43-yard line. Rafato and Patrick split up to the right side, or out to the right side of the formation. The give to Van Cleve, he bounces it out to the left side. He'll have 1st down yardage and out to the 48-yard line. Another pickup of 5 yards for Van Cleve, and yardage racks up quickly when you're getting at 5 at a chunk.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's on a 200-yard game pace here, Andy, and you know, he gets that head of steam up. Look out. We want a little slant off tackle here, Andy, and he makes that thing go.
We want to tell you that tonight's football game is brought to you by the Montana High School Association. The MHSA serves the state by regulating athletic competition. The MHSA provides service to all member schools while controlling all and providing fair competition to all. The MHSA believes interscholastic activities are an integral part of school curriculum. The MHSA hopes you enjoy tonight's game. Bardick with the completion.
Swing pass to Mr. Van Cleve again. And take a look. You've got 11 red jerseys on that football. That's great pursuit.
2nd down, 10 yards to go for the West High Bears. Under the 3-minute mark now, 2:28 and counting in this 2nd quarter. 3 receivers split to the bottom side of the formation. Ryan in motion, and he'll stay in the block. Bardick under a little pressure, looking for his tight end, Dan Russell. Unable to make that connection. Good pressure on Bardick that time by the front 4 of the Helena High defense.
Yeah, it was. They're getting some push on their offensive line at West High, and even though they're not coming clean very often, it still makes a difference in the kind of throw you're going to get out of your quarterback. He has to see over those guys. He has to find that seam and then get the ball to the receiver. In that case, it was a little bit off.
Number 17 for Helena, Nathan Walters, has been in on the last 2 or 3 series defensively, and he was actually putting a little pressure on there as well on the quarterback that time. This time he splits out to the quarterback side, picking up Pat Ryan, as looks like on the top of the formation. 3rd down, 10 yards to go. The swing pass to Van Cleve. He's got a lot of room to run after the catch. Brought down by Walters right there, who steps up and makes the nice tackle. Short of 1st down yardage, only 8 yards on the play. That's a little kid making a tackle on Van Cleve.
Yeah, sort of a nickel look for Helena High on the defense. They've got a 3-man front. They're going to bring a backer. And number 17, Walters, as you say, he is the nickel guy that comes in for that tackle and steps up and makes a pretty good play there.
That sets up 4th down and 2 yards to go. And Patrick looks like he's going to drop back and punt it. They send in Simpson and Peterson right now. We are or nearing the 130 mark at 133 and counting. I think West High is going to take as much time as possible off the clock here before they give the ball back over to the Helena High offense.
I think they will too, Andy, and they're going to try to get that ball as deep as they can.
The snap to Patrick. He takes his time with the boot.
Give people time to get down there, and well, I don't know. You don't want to get in that guy's chance.
Simpson fields it inside the 10, and he busts it out to the 22-yard line. Pretty good coverage there by the West High special teams. They'll take over at the 22 with 1 minute and 6 seconds left to go in the 2nd quarter, 14-7. Now, you've gotten yourself back in the game if you're Tony Arnston. What do you do with this series? Are you content at 14-7?
Well, with this return here by Simpson, you know, they get a few yards on it, so they are in a position to run their 2-minute offense. There's 1:06. They can throw the ball well. They'll use those outer zones, or else they'll get up inside, and they still have a few for timeouts left. You know, there's a lot of things that can happen in 1 minute and 6 seconds. I can remember Helena Capital going down the field on us in about 37 seconds with just passes to the sideline.
They've got the speedsters in the formation now. Plato this time will give it to Peterson. Peterson slips 1 tackle. He'll get about 4 or 5 yards before he's met by a horde of Billings West tacklers, and we are under the minute mark now, 55 seconds and counting. And Helena doesn't look to be in a huge hurry here.
No, Andy, I think they're just going to try to let the clock run out and take it in at halftime, make their adjustments, and see what they can do in the 2nd half.
It's really a big part of football strategy and football philosophy. You could gamble there and try to score, but a mistake would really change the momentum that you've swung back in your favor.
Right, especially in this field position here.
Under the 30-second mark, it's 2nd down and 5 yards to go. They give it right up the middle to Simpson. Simpson looks like he has 1st down yardage before he's brought down by Patrick Ryan and Chris Pross helping out on the tackle. It will be 1st down and 10. The clock is stopped with the 1st down, but we have 21 seconds left to go. And they may take 1 shot, you don't know, before they go into the locker room and discuss what's happened here in the 1st half.
Well, they could, Andy. There may be a special play in that repertoire just for this situation. We'll find out.
We are at the 10-second mark right now, and Flato's going to drop back and throw it, and he looks and finds Wiggin. Wiggin down right away, 5 yards on the completion, and that does it here for the 1st half. 14-7 is the score right now. West High leading Helena in the AA championship. We're going to send it down to Al Marks. The KTVH sports director is going to quickly talk to Helena High coach Tony Arnston if he can get him. It doesn't look like we're going to get him there right now. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back with our halftime show right after this.
All right, with Helena High head coach Tony Arnston. Tony, you're down 14-7 at the half. Tony, what kind of adjustments are you going to make here at the half?
Oh, I think offensively we just got to get ourselves in a rhythm. We picked it up there a little bit. You know, we started out so bad that first series. I think just the emotion and stuff. We dropped the ball and, you know, missed some blocking stuff up front early. But I think we're now offensively we're settled in. Defensively, we just got to keep playing. You know, that's a potent offense, and we just got to get. I think the defense is starting to get settled in. So I don't know that we have to make any major adjustments. We just got to play better football in the 2nd half.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, that's going to do it. We'll be right back after this.
We are at halftime at Vigilante Stadium in Helena, Montana, where the Billings West High Bears lead the Helena Bengals by a score of 14-7. Thank you for joining us on the Vans halftime show. The West High Golden Bears are shooting for their 2nd consecutive state title. Let's take you through some of the 1st half highlights. It's awfully cold in Helena. That's why we want to stay right here in our studio in Billings. Andy Price and Ron Lebsock with the call of this game. First quarter, Bears strike first. Bo Bartik with the swing pass to Brandon Van Cleve, who busts in for the score. That makes it 7-0 in favor of the Bears. Still in the first quarter, Bears defense picking it up. Kevin Flato, the quarterback for Helena, is picked off by Matt Whalen, setting up the Bears in prime position after a couple Bo Bartik to Pat Ryan passes. The Bears on the Helena 1-yard line. Bo Bartik does it himself. Touchdown West High, that made it 14-7. Helena scored late in the second quarter, and your score right now at halftime is 14-7. Well, stay tuned, because when the Van's halftime show continues, we'll be joined in studio by Rocky Mountain football coach Jeff Lewis to talk about the Bears' playoff game tomorrow with Central Washington. We're looking at the Capitol building in Helena. 14-7 is your score. Billings West over the Helena High Bengals. We are at halftime now, back in the studios here at KTVQ. We're joined by Rocky Mountain head football coach Jeff Lewis on the eve of the Bears playoff game. But first, we got to ask you, after watching the first half, what do you like, what do you don't like about the game tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, West has done a nice job with the offensive line up front. They're doing a good job for Van Cleve so far, giving Bo Bartik some time. You know, they had the turnover there that really sputtered them at the one point. Helena Capital came off, got a quick score on it, did a good job to capitalize on that.
And now the big game. Everybody's talking about it in town. One of the biggest games to hit this town in quite a long time. Tomorrow at Dayla Stadium, 3 o'clock. The Bears, Central Washington. You've had a week now to look at them. What do you see about Central Washington?
I'll tell you what, Central Washington brings a fine ball club into town this weekend. Highly explosive offense at times with the running back that can make some big plays, and at other times, you know, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to mix it up. They're going to get after us a little bit and on defense and try to stop our air attack.
In the other games, we'll talk about that air attack. Tomorrow, the temperature is supposed to be about 60 degrees, which is probably good for that offense, but you said earlier it really didn't matter. But would you rather have it be 60 degrees than about 60 below?
Sure. Why not? You know, it's going to be a little windy, but most part, it's going to be a great day, good day for a football game, and you can't ask for a better day.
What about the excitement between the coaching staff and the players? Everybody pretty jacked up for this game?
Yeah, we are. The players are really anxious after having 3 weeks to prepare and get after it. We've had a long layoff, and we're anxious to get back at it.
All right, Jeff Lewis, the head coach of the Rocky Mountain Bears, tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Their first playoff game against Central Washington at Dayla Stadium. We're going to take a quick break now on the Van's halftime show. Send it back to Helena, 14-7. The Billings West High Bears over the Helena Bengals.
You bet.
All right, we are back here with 5 minutes left to go in the half. Billings West leading at 14-7, and Helena will get the ball at the start of the second half. And coach, that could be a big series.
Well, you saw West High come out and take advantage of the situation and won that first half, or the first quarter, excuse me. Helena High came back in the second quarter and showed that they can control the football, stick it in too. Again, turnovers being a factor.
Let's go down to the field now. Al Marks and Mark Sulzer standing by with some first half analysis.
All right, we're here with Mark Sulzer, head coach at Billings Senior. And Mark, we talked about the game obviously beforehand. It looks like some of your points came true here in the first half, especially I guess the bus had a pretty big first half.
Yeah, Brandon's played very well. He's rushed the ball well. They've got the ball to him on the perimeter a little bit. He's tough to bring down, but you know, he hasn't broke the big play. You know, he's play after play and tackle after tackle. So it's one of those deals where he's having a big first half and they need to keep him in check the second half.
Well, it looks like time of possession. I know West came out and they marched right down the field, and they really had a lot of momentum, and they also kept the ball away from Helena High. How important was that?
That was huge. You know, the one thing for West, and we talked about this earlier, is the key for Helena is keeping the game close, and it was close to being broken wide open, and they had the fumble here, and they're, you know, going in, and that's helped Helena, and they were able to score, and so now it's a tight ball game again.
All right, at the top of the show, we talked about Tyler Peterson, an explosive sophomore, and finally he got unleashed late in the second quarter when Helena High got that touchdown. Tell us about that, because he's one guy that West really had to keep an eye on.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where they're the three-prong attack. They've got to tackle Simpson, and then they got to check Flato, and then here comes Peterson, and he scored on the option play, and it was a good play for the Bengals.
All right, Mark, you go into the locker room. What do you tell your two teams?
Well, you know, and this I really believe this. I feel like it's anybody's ball game right now, and you tell their guys that you got, you know, a second half, you got 24 minutes of football, and the toughest team's going to win. The team that comes out swinging is the team that's going to go home state champ.
All right, that's going to do it from the field. We'll be right back right after this.
All right, we are back here at Vigilante Stadium in Helena, Montana. 14-7, West High leading. Let's take a look at some of the first half statistics, because sometimes statistics can tell you the story of this one. And you take a look at total yards to begin with. West High 204 to 123 for Helena High. West High also leading the first down race 9-6. Passing yards, West, we had a feeling would be a better throwing team, and almost 100 yards up on, over 100 yards up on Helena High. So Bardick winning the war against Plato. But this game, which West looked like they dominated in the first quarter, is surely far from being decided.
That's right, Andy. Bardick's 8 for 14 with 132 yards, 1 touchdown in the air, and 1 rushing touchdown. Van Cleve, again, he's packing the load. 15 carries for 69 yards, 4 receptions for 28 yards, and a touchdown catch. Raffato, a couple big plays for the Bears. 2 receptions for 25 yards. Ryan, a big one up the middle, 1 for 41 yards. And Whalen, a big catch, 1 for 40 yards.
All right, we're just about getting going here. The clock is set, and as we said before, Helena gets the ball first in the third quarter, so they have a chance to equal it right up with a nice drive, with a nice series here, or if not, at least to set the tone whether they score some points or not.
Exactly, Andy. You know, Kevin Flato's 4 for 9 for 29 yards. He has thrown 1 interception, however, and that hurt. Peterson, 5 carries for 33 yards and a touchdown. 2 of those carries, big carries. Simpson, 7 carries for 41 yards. On the reception end, Wiggin, 2 catches for 8 yards. Simpson, 1 catch for no yards on the play. And Boyd, 1 catch for 21 yards, almost a touchdown if he'd have broken 1 tackle. These guys have really stepped up in the second quarter. Again, whoever comes out, I think, Andy, in this third quarter and sets the pace, sets the tone for this game, could be the champion.
We want to make an amendment to one of your statistics, Ryan Raffato. You kind of looked at it a little funny when you saw it. He actually had 3 catches for 65 yards. He had the big 40-yard catch in the second quarter. Raffato, the hookup of Bardick to Raffato has been one that that little in route has been open quite a bit this first half.
Right. It seemed a little low to me, Andy, but I'm not going to question our stats guy back there because he's back there working his tail off trying to get these numbers right.
He's one of the best in the business.
That's right.
We'll give Tim Keating a little plug because he works harder than almost anybody I know. Almost anybody. I think you and I work a little bit harder than he does. All right, let's go to the sideline now with Al Marks and West High coach Paul Clabo.
Hi, with head coach Paul Clabo from Billings West. Coach, what'd you tell your kids at halftime?
Yeah, we just got to keep playing hard. You know, we thought we could have had a couple more. The fumble hurt us and changed momentum. They had 1 big play, and we'll be all right. Our kids will come out and play hard this half, and you know, we've had some dumb mistakes offensively that have stopped ourselves, and we need to change that this half.
Looks like you ran Van Cleve a lot. You're going to keep doing that in the second half?
Oh yeah, he took a little pounding, but Brandon's a real tough kid, and you know he'll do just fine.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, back up to you in the booth.
Very much, Al. We are ready to go now. We'll let Paul hustle. We get to see a little Clabo hustle here.
There he is. He's at the 10. He's at the 15. He's at the 20. I hope he doesn't fall at all. Get him the oxygen on the sideline.
We've got the isolation camera on Clabo. He a heck of an athlete in his day, huh?
Oh, I tell you what. All of us at Butte High School looked up to Coach Clabo. He's one of the strongest individuals and toughest individuals out there on the field. And I'm a better person for knowing him. I know that.
Well, we've heard from both coaches heading into the half. We've heard what they have to do if they want their team to win the state championship. Of course, the coaches could say all they want, but it's execution. The kids have got to do it on the field.
You bet, Andy. You know, halftime we saw that flag sitting still. Now it's starting to pick up again. Who knows what's going to happen here? I don't think weather is going to be a factor in this situation. These kids will play through anything in this case.
John Hill is going to kick it off for the West High Golden Bears. Again, back to receive. This time they've got three back. Peterson to the left. In the middle is Grady Simpson. The kick will go to number 42, and 42 making the play, scoops it up and takes it back to about the 30-yard line. And that again is John Hammond. Hammond recovered kind of that squib kick early in the first half, and again he covers another kick. I think West High knows exactly where Simpson and Peterson are on that kick return coverage.
Of course they do. They've had that film on, and that kicker has seen where the, you know, what those numbers are and where they're going to be. And he's going to make sure that he does not give it to them.
All right. Helena High taking over at the 27-yard line. First down and 10. Two backs in the backfield with the fullback. Butella is back in there. They're going to pitch it to Simpson, and it looks like he's going to throw it. The lefty, he hucks it downfield. Chris Pross is there picking it off at midfield, and there's your big turnover. They tried a little trickery, and it just didn't work. Simpson just didn't get, he had a guy by a step, but West had great coverage on it. I guess that's the best way to say it.
Well, I think it's a situation where Grady might have done better to pack it himself. We had two people on Mr. Peterson. It's a good idea, but West High plays very, very disciplined defense.
Chris Bailey had good coverage, and the pick goes to Mr. Pross, and that's a big play by Chris Pross, the senior defensive back for Billings West High, and they take over at midfield. Helena maybe looking for the quick strike. Will it backfire? We'll see if West High can capitalize. First down and 10 yards to go. The give to Brandon Van Cleve. Van Cleve with a little seam, and he takes it 4 yards before Cole Brills in on the tackle, along with 36 Ty Murray, and also on the play is Jory Lamping.
Not a bad defensive play, Andy, holding that guy to 3 yards. Again, like you said, this is a situation where Helena High is going to have to really step up now on defense. They've given the ball up in good field position for West High, and one team's going to take advantage of it.
Patrick and Rafato are split out to the right side of the formation. The give to Van Cleve up the middle, and what a hit there. Maxwell, and then finishing it off is Mr. Zach Butella, the big middle linebacker.
Two very tough individuals, and I can see why these guys lead their team in tackles. They get to that football with a head of steam and in a bad mood, and they did a great job on that play.
Butella has been meeting Van Cleve head-on-head a few times today, and that one, Butella gets the win in that war.
You bet he does.
Third down and 6 yards to go. Zach Butella, the 6', 200-pound linebacker for the Helena High Bengals. Big third down play again for Billings West High. On the roll right is Bardick. He's looking, and he finds, looking for Pat Ryan, but a little bit wide of Ryan's reach.
I think he had to throw that a little wide, Andy, because of the underneath coverage. Again, Zach Butella is out there taking away that seam.
Here's a look at the replay as Bardick rolls right, and I think you're exactly right, Coach.
Good pass blocking up front by West High. Again, a little bit wide, a little out of the reach of Mr. Ryan's hands, but a great effort again by that young man to try to catch that football.
Only one player deep for Helena, and that's Grady Simpson. Peterson is not back there with him. It looks like they may even try to rush the punter here and get a block. Patrick is able to get it off a spiraling punt that Peterson fields inside the 10, and he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Great coverage by the West High punt team, and they have not been able to get a lot of positive yardage on the special teams, has Helena High.
No, they did go for the block on that, Andy. Here they come. They don't get it. Grady fields the ball, decides to field the ball, and that's a tough decision to make down there on the 10-yard line. Most people would let it go, but this guy's got guts. He's going to try to make something happen with it.
The field position not good for Helena High. 10 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the third quarter here. Billings West leading at 14-7. Two backs in the backfield, Simpson and Peterson. They give to Simpson right up the middle, running a little bit of that option package, and he gains 2 to 3 yards on that play. They had a lot of success in the second quarter. I would guess you would think that that's going to be a big part of this in the third quarter.
I think so, Andy. You know, and again, it's going to take some patience on the Helena High offensive part if they're going to do this kind of attack. Sometimes it's 2 yards, sometimes it's 10 yards, but that's just the way the option is.
Second down and 7 yards, just across the 15 is where the ball is spotted. Up to the top of the screen goes Justin Wiggin. To the bottom of the screen is Nate Boyd, the 100-meter champion. We've talked about that a little bit today. The pitch on the option to Peterson. They string it out nicely. Willis in with the first chip. Justin Bickham also making the tackle. Not a lot of room for the speedy sophomore to run.
No, there isn't. West High, again, getting good position on defense and making good tackles. Toby Beck inside, boy, I tell you what, he gets off the football. He knocked his guy back there several yards, but again, can't get outside if you don't get the blocking on the perimeter.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide for Tyler Peterson on that option play to the left side. It is now third down and 7 yards. Two backs in the backfield. Flato with the play action to Peterson. He's looking on the out pattern, and he's got Wiggin open. Wiggin has the first down at the 25. That's the second nice catch on an out pattern by Wiggin tonight.
A very nice catch on an out pattern, and well covered by Chris Bailey, even though, you know, the kid has he's done a great job out there on the corner. Chris Bailey, number 27, he's got the man in that third out there, and he comes up to make the play. He's a little bit short, but Wiggins makes a great catch. Again, that ball had to be thrown wide and outside in order for that to be completed.
First down, Flato again dropping back to pass, stepping up in the pocket. He's going to tuck it and go. Brady and Van Cleve combine on the tackle, and it's a gain of 4 yards. And that's one of the things with Kevin Flato. I said he may be a little bit, well, he's not as well known as the Bo Bardick or the quarterback from Kalispell, but he's able to do this. He's able to tuck it, and he's a great athlete. He can run it for some yardage as well.
He is a factor on the run. Helena High has 3 guys that you really got to handle if you're going to stop their running package. That's Flato, Peterson, and most importantly, Grady Simpson.
Second down, 6 yards to go, just shy of the 30 at the 29 is where it is spotted. 8 minutes and 17 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Helena trying to get back in the game, trailing 14-7. To give to Grady Simpson. He was the deep back, and he's going to have a first down, and he barrels out past the 40-yard line, running right over the top of Kendall Sell.
Again, you know, this shows the diversity of Helena High's offense. We haven't seen this play for a while, but they line up in the I formation, run their ISO, and here comes Mr. Simpson putting the pads down, getting ahead of steam up, and getting upfield. When you get the ball to a guy that deep in the backfield, he's going to make something happen if you give him a crease.
Grady Simpson, 9 carries, 56 yards. He has topped the 50-yard mark today. He's a guy who well over 1,400 yards, breaking the school record for single-season rushing. This time the give to Simpson. He was the up back with Peterson deep, and who's there making the tackle but big number 3.
There he is, a little trap out of the offset eye, and there's nobody that handles that trap better than Mr. Pat Ryan. He's a big-time player.
Gain of a yard, maybe a yard and a half, setting up 2nd and 8.5. It looks like they're bringing in the big package. Mike Hoven coming in, along with number 88, Mike Fitzpatrick, the junior tight end. Justin Wiggin will be split out to the right. Hoven comes to the left. Again, it's Peterson and Simpson in the backfield. The give is to Peterson, looking for room to run, nowhere to run. Barely back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 9. Let's go back down to the field with Al Marks.
All right, with Ben Evans, the captain of the 1929 Helena High Bengal football team. Ben, what do you think of this year's Bengal team?
They're looking good. I think they're going to take this.
Are they? I'll tell you about when you played football, things were a little bit different back then, weren't they?
Yes, they were quite a bit different.
Okay, no face mask, right?
No face mask.
All right, and after that you went on and played up at Carroll College, I believe, right?
Well, it was St. Charles.
St. Charles,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we were undefeated, unscored upon.
All right.
Beat the Grizzlies and the Bobcats.
Good, well, enjoy the game, Ben.
Well, thank you.
All right, back up to the booth.
Huge play there, the throw to Justin Wiggin. He is down inside the 20. Bailey slipped a little bit on the coverage. Wiggin, the nice throw from Flato, and they are in scoring range.
That's the 3rd time they've attacked that area this half, Andy, and it's working. This time he gets it a little bit deeper pattern, a little bit higher over the shoulder, a different throw, but he makes a great catch.
Actually,
Chris,
Bailey had the coverage
late.
there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he gets upfield quick. Big play by that free safety coming over and making the tackle, Mr. Kendall Sell.
They spot the ball at the 20, 38 yards on that completion from Flato to Wiggin. And a couple coaches told me this week, you got to watch out for Wiggin. He can make the big play. He's had a good third quarter so far. First down and 10. Oh, the West Side defense just tears apart that little belly play on the option. 2 guys, that's Bickham, and I think Brady, who just decided that play's not going anywhere.
It's also a good indication as to whether or not they're reading that situation. I think the fullback took it thinking he was going to get her, and the quarterback wanted to keep it himself and get it on the perimeter, and that's sometimes how it looks.
I like to call those up 3 for West High the Golden Bees, as it's Bickham, Brady, and Balster who had the 3-4 defense for West High. The give to Peterson, he's got a little seam. Oh, the two West High tacklers bring him down. That's Brandon Van Cleve and number 28, Tyler Perch, who stopped him to about a 5-yard run.
Perch is a young guy on the team. He's a good, pleasant surprise for Coach Clavel this year. He said he's really stepped up for him, and of course Brandon has always been solid at that back position.
It is 3rd down, 5 yards to go from just inside the 15-yard line. 5 minutes and 24 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Helena High wants a timeout. We'll take a 1-minute break as well. You're watching the AA State Football Championship. We are back at Vigilante Stadium, the 5:24 mark of the 3rd quarter. Billings West leading Helena 14-7, but Helena is threatening. 3rd down and 5 from inside the 15-yard line as the wind picks up a little bit.
A little bit. We got a Helena Pride sign right in our face.
But that's what football's all about, Coach.
That's right. You're 3rd and 5. You got 2 downs.
Uh-oh. 2 guys in motion. There's the yellow flag. It's coming back. It doesn't matter. It would be 1st down yarders, but the old 2 backs in motion, not allowed in American football.
No, it isn't, Andy. You can go to Canada and give it a shot. But anyway, you know, what you had there was a 3rd and 5. You have 2 downs to get the 1st down. Now they have 2 downs to get the longer 1st down. We'll see if they go to the air, if they stay on the ground with it.
We have an illegal shift. 2 men in motion at the same time on the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
You know, Andy, you take a look at that situation there and you wonder, you know, maybe the diversity of the offense has caused them to make that kind of a mistake. You don't know that. You hope that it doesn't ever happen. And talking to Tony, he's working with a bunch of kids here who are, I mean, hey, 40 of his players are 3-point averages or above. These guys have handled it very well.
3rd down and 10, Flato with a straight drop. He's got some time. He's looking, and he looks for Wiggin again, but a little bit behind Wiggin. That is incomplete. Interesting 4th down and 10 situation. With the wind blowing, I'm not so sure that a 37-yard field goal is a play right here, and you're probably looking at a 4th down situation where we're going to try to get the 1st down.
Well, they certainly have the leg for it. Ben Catt has an excellent leg. A little bit of a swirling wind, Andy. I think they're going to go for it. It looks like they are. Better have the big play ready. And again, defensively, take care of your assignments. You're on West High's end.
Peterson and Simpson in the backfield. Hoven and Wiggin are the wide receivers. 4th down, 10 yards to go. A little bit of the roll right for Flato. He's got some pressure, and there is going to be a couple penalties. There's an offensive penalty. I see a holding back here in the backfield. I think there's a defensive penalty as well, maybe a holding. This may just be wiped out, and we'll do this 4th down all over again. We'll wait and see how the referees discuss this situation.
That's a good possibility. There you can see the flag. Inside on the holding looks like number 44. I can't see the one down further, but again.
And that is exactly what the call is, holding offense and holding defense. So let's just pretend that play didn't happen, and we'll have 4th down and 10 again.
Well, go to your second play on the list of 4th and 10s in scoring zone.
We have holding by the offense. We also have defensive holding. Penalties offset. Replay 4th down.
Well, we get a chance to do it all over again. 4th down and 10 yards to go. 4 minutes and 58 seconds to play in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Johnny, you know, we've looked at, 6 penalties in this game. 7 if you count the 2 here. But very, very low in penalties.
They've got Peterson out there in the slot where he's very dangerous. We'll see if they look towards him here on 4th down and 10. Flato's looking at him, and he looks for him on the out, but it ends up landing in between both Boyd and Peterson, and West High will take over on down.
Yes, they will, and that's a great change of momentum here. Again, he's trying to hit Peterson on the flag route. Got another receiver in the area too, Nate Boyd, but happens to fall between 2 of them. They needed to get that ball to one or the other.
West Side taking over at the 20-yard line with 4 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter, and a 7-point cushion. And they go to the power set right away with this time the power to the left side. Van Cleve, the only back in the backfield, and a fumble off the snap. And Bo Bardick is just going to have to fall on it for a loss of 10 yards. I don't know if that was so much a miss snap or just he kind of turned and lost it a little bit. Let's take a look at it.
Well,
yeah,
he
maybe
like
never
the
ever
snap
had
comes
control.
Out of there, yeah.
Yep.
It came off to the right side of the center's snap there, and it wasn't handled. You know, when you're talking pressure, push, pull by that quarterback, we talk it all the time, too.
That's the third time tonight that we've had a little problem between the center and the quarterback in the snap. And
yeah.
Basic fundamental of football, but now it's set up at 2nd and 20 again in the power formation. They're going to give it to Brandon Van Cleve, and a flag is thrown. It looks like a neutral zone infraction. We'll see if it's going to go against the offense or the defense on the play. Gain of 2 or 3 yards for Van Cleve and set up a long 3rd down. We'll see the call, and it is a legal motion, so it's going to make it 2nd and 25 if they take it. Does Helena think about declining it?
Well, either way, it'd be good for them. I tell you, you get it back there halfway. There they go. They made the decision for me. But, they want to get that ball back a little quicker, I guess.
Down and 17 to go.
Very unlike West High, Andy, in the snap and the way it's been handled by Bo. I think maybe they're getting a little ahead of themselves in a few situations here.
3rd down and 17 yards. No wide receivers in the game again in that power formation. Dropping back to pass is Bo Bardick. He's looking for his tight end, Dan Russell. Oh, my. Russell right off the fingertips. He had a man beat by a step. Very close to being a very big play out of that power formation.
Again, a big play, Andy. You know, in the first game, we saw West High receivers get behind the Helena defense. The first game that they played, the 3rd game of the season, and this time they get the tight end up the seam behind the Helena defense. That's not good if you're a defensive back. But again, a little bit overthrown.
Dan Russell made a big touchdown catch last week. He also got a touchdown the first week of the season against Missoula Hellgate, unable to haul that one down. That brings up a punting situation, 4th down and 17. West High having trouble getting in the punting formation with the 2 dangerous kick returners, Simpson and Peterson, waiting back to return it. Almost blocked.
Justin Evans almost got a hand on it.
Got it. Simpson.
There's a return
at the 45. He's got room inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line. And again, Helena High is back in business.
I tell you, he had the wall there, Andy. He had the wall, and he got up in there real well. In this situation, this is the last thing on offense that you want to happen, is for that wall to get set up and for that return guy to get into it. Number 25 makes a good play there, good block, a good effort of staying off the man, Justin Mergel. And again, Grady Simpson gets up that sideline for a real nice return. He averages about 18 yards a carry on that return.
Will Johnson making the tackle there inside the 30 for West High. And on 1st down, there is a flag on the play. And again, looks like there will be some motion.
You know, Andy, it was just a matter of time, I think. You know, when you have 2 people, Tyler Peterson averages about 22 yards a return, and Grady Simpson averages about 18 a return on the punts. It's a matter of time before it's going to happen.
1st down, 15.
West High has done a great job of preventing that play from happening, and this time Helena got her up there a little bit further. But again, now penalized for their 20th yard of the day.
Substitution infraction for Helena High sets up 1st and 15, and these penalties only 5 yards, but they're like nagging penalties. They kind of just sting you a little bit.
5 yards here, 5 yards there.
Gain of 3 yards there for Grady Simpson, bringing up 2nd down and 12. Let's go back down to the sidelines again with Sports Director Al Marks.
All right, in that last drive, 4th down, Tony Arson, Helena High head coach, decided to go for it instead of sending his kicker in Ben Chait. Chait can kick him from up to 45 yards, but he decided not to do it. Main reason, Chait's a left-footed kicker. The crosswinds would have thrown his kick off. Back up to you.
Thank you very much, Al. And then we have ourselves 2nd down and 12 yards to go, maybe about 11 and a half, as Helena's trying to get back in the game. We're reaching the 3-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, 3:07 and counting. Plato on running the option to give to Simpson right up the middle, and he just bowls his way inside the 20 down to the 19th, and they're in business again, 3rd down and about 1.5 yards.
Yes, and a real nice block again by Spencer Schmitz and Matt Higgins up front, Lowell Hahn, the offensive tackle, and Toby Beck on the backside. You know, you need that kind of a crease to get that kind of yardage. They did a nice job of getting off the football.
3rd down and 1.5 yards for Helena High. Just inside the 20 is where the ball was spotted. Matt Boyd comes out to the left side. Justin Wiggin in motion now. And they'll give it to Grady Simpson again, and Simpson inside the 15, and that is going to be a Helena High 1st down.
A good call by Tony Arnson and a good decision by Kevin Plato. The dive is there. It gets you your first down. And now you're in position again in the red zone for a scoring opportunity.
And with that 5 yards, Grady Simpson is now over the 70-yard mark. 16 carries, 71 yards. 13 carries, 71 yards, says Tim Keating.
He's a worker.
A little ahead of myself there. 1st and 10 from the 15. This time the give to Peterson. He tries to bounce it outside, comes back across the field, and he's tracked down. It looks like that's Willis on the play, and Justin Bickham also chasing down Tyler Peterson, and that's a lot to chase.
Well, it is. I'll tell you what, shades of Barry Sanders there. You're looking at a young Barry Sanders. Here we go. Let's take it outside. No. Too many people out there. Let's go inside. All right, here we go. I'll put a little spin move on him and get upfield.
Nice gain of 4 when it could have been a loss of 4. And that's what you look for in a back like that who's able to make some positive out of what could be a negative.
He's an interesting kid.
Under a minute and 30 to play in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Flato going up top, pump fake, and finding Nate Boyd down to the 2-yard line where he's out of bounds. At the 2-yard line, the little pump fake on the hitch. Nate Boyd making the catch, and with a minute 18 left to go, Helena High has 1st and goal from the 2.
And that's the big thing, Andy, just like you said, making the catch. A pump fake, a good throw, and Nate Boyd looks it in all the way. Again, he's not that concerned about getting the ball in the end zone as he is catching the football, and that's what he should be concerned about. Now they're in scoring position on the 2.5.
As we're attacked by a wild banner as the wind picks up to about 15 knots here. We'll try to make the call here. 1st and goal from the 2. Flato with 2 backs in the backfield. The big fullback in front of Grady Simpson. You can bet they're going to give it to Simpson. He takes it, and he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Matt Whalen coming up and making a whale of a hit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that young man, for his size, really puts a shot on people. He stepped up there and took that thing on. They led with 2 people in that hole, and he made a great play keeping them out of the end zone.
Of course, you know Matt Whalen pretty well as the son of one of the Skyview principal, Bob Whalen.
Hey, I've known Bob for a long time. He's no Butte guy.
All right, here we go.
Great
2nd down and 1. 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. Helena looking to tie the game. Flato over the top. And Flato's in for the score. That makes it 14-13. The quarterback on the quarterback sneak at 6'5". He's got a kind of an easy way to go.
Yes, at 6'6", 185 pounds. That's a lot of kids diving over some pretty good offensive linemen. They got the jump, and you can say he got it in the end zone pretty easily.
All right, it's up to Mr. Chait now. This field goal, or this extra point, this point after touchdown right here could be the big play of the game. And could we have a tie at 14-14?
Every point counts.
And the kick is up, and the kick is good. And we are tied 14-14 with the extra point from Ben Chait. We are watching the AA Football Championship from Helena, Montana. Tied 14-14 here at Vigilante Stadium. 47 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter. Ben Chait, who hit the extra point that tied the game, will now kick it off, and standing back to retrieve it will be nobody as it's kicked through the end zone, and West High will take over at the 20-yard line, and West High really has not had anything going in this 3rd quarter at all.
Well, again, Ben Chait kicks her out of the end zone. That's as good a kickoff coverage as you can ask for right there. That man just made a great tackle by kicking it out of there.
Before we go on, we want to tell you the Montana High School Association is bringing you coverage of tonight's State AA Football Championship. The MHSA serves the state by regulating athletic competition. The MHSA provides service to all member schools while controlling all high school activities. The goals of the MHSA is to provide fair competition to all. The MHSA hopes you enjoy tonight's game. 1st and 10, Bo Bardick looking, and it's almost picked off by Zach Butella. Again, they were looking for that same route we've been seeing all night long to Ryan Rafato.
I'll tell you, Zach had her in his hands, but there was an open field. Mr. Van Cleve was bearing down on him. Again, a fortunate play for the West High Bears that did not get picked off, especially with this kind of a momentum change in the game already.
2nd down and 10 yards to go. We've got banner control going on up here in the booth as this 15-foot banner keeps smacking us in the head. The give to Brandon Van Cleve, and he gets across the 20 out to the 25. Gain of 5 for Brandon Van Cleve, setting up 3rd down and 5 yards to go. Let's take a look at this replay. Again, they're giving it to Van Cleve. He starts it off to the left, but as he does well, he bounces it off to the right.
Yeah, he runs into his offensive lineman there a little bit, but again, in on that tackle, that Helena High football player did a nice job of wrapping him up tight. I didn't get the number. I looked like Zach Pitaya.
3rd and 5, under 10 seconds to go. This will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. Bardick dropping back to pass, going upfield, and he looks and he finds Josh Patrick, the leading receiver in terms of touchdowns and yards. Been very quiet tonight, but that's a big play because that keeps the drive alive. That'll be 1st down, and that will be the last play of this 3rd quarter. The clock is stopped with 1 second left, but once they start the clock after they set the change, we can tell you that's the end of the 3rd quarter. We have 12 minutes left to play. We have ourselves a tie football game. 14-14. We'll be back after this. All right, we missed the first play of the 4th quarter. A little pass to Josh Patrick.
Nice reception by Josh. Got him backed up there, 2nd and 3.
2nd down and 3 from the 43-yard line of West High. They give it to Van Cleve, and there's a huge hole, and he's rumbling over to the midfield down to the 40-yard line, and he is like a bus when he gets going. It's a lot of momentum to stop.
Yes, he is, and that was a real nice trap up front by that offensive line. West High's offensive line is one of the best trapping offensive lines in our league, I think, and there goes Mr. Van Cleve taking advantage of that situation. He's 218 pounds. If you get any momentum going like that, he's tough to bring down.
1st and 10 from the 42-yard line of Helena. West High has watched the Bengals tie this game up late in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10. Bardick throwing it to Ryan. Ryan with the tip and the catch down to the 20. Nice play by Pat Ryan, about 23 yards on the play, and again, it's 1st down.
Now you know why a lot of teams in this nation are looking at this young man. You know, from Notre Dame, Colorado, Montana, Montana State, this guy can make it happen. Got great concentration on the football with people all around him. He's a big, strong kid who can make it happen.
West High now trying to send a message to start the 4th quarter and take that lead back. 3 receivers in the set. Patrick up to the top, Brafado and Ryan in the slot. Van Cleve is your lone back. Bardick is going to swing it out to Van Cleve. This time Tyler Murray with a great read on that play. It's been successful a couple times. Not going to happen this time.
That's right. Tyler Murray.
And that's 17 again. That is Nathan Walters, that nickel back.
That's right, Nathan Walters in the cornerback.
10 minutes, 30 seconds left to go here in the 4th quarter. The wind is picking up. We're beginning to feel it up here in the booth as it is 2nd down and 11 yards to go. That completion to Van Cleve, a loss of 1 on the play. This time the play action fake to Van Cleve. Bardick rolling to the right, breaks 1 tackle, but this time he'll be brought down for a loss. It's Butella and Walters again, and Walters has really made an impact tonight.
He has. You know, that Helena defense is reading and reacting very well right now. Justin Evans slowed that play up a little bit for his defense to make the play. A good fake by by Bo Bardick, but again, when you're sending those ends up for one reason, and that's to keep that guy inside, giving the rest of that defense a chance to get over there and make the play.
That brings up 3rd down and 15 yards. Now Rafado and Patrick split up to the top side of the screen. Van Cleve is the lone back. Bardick is going to drop straight back looking for his receiver, and he's got Van Cleve out in the flat. Great block upfield by Russell. Van Cleve drags him all the way down into the 5 before Murray is able to bring him down. But the play may be made by number 88, Dan Russell, with a great block upfield.
An excellent block, and I'll tell you what, they had this play set up very well. Again, Van Cleve out there in the weak flat, makes a great catch, looks it in, blocked by Russell, and he gets her down there. These are backyards here. He's breaking that tackle, getting her down inside that 5-yard line.
Brandon Van Cleve, the senior who was a big part of that championship team last year, is making the play. Paul Clabo is trying to get a timeout. That's actually Coach Guelph trying to get a timeout. Will his team watch him? No, it looks like they're not going to get the timeout, and they pitch to Van Cleve on 1st down, and he is going to take it down inside the 2 down to the 1-yard line. And they are right on the doorstep now. The pitch to Van Cleve in that power formation.
Yeah.
The clock at 9 minutes now and counting. It is on the 2 is where they're going to spot it. About the 1.5, I guess, if we're going to be precise about it. And they will take a timeout this time. West High taking a timeout. Let's go to commercial break. We'll be back at the 14-14 tie. All right, here we go. 2nd down and goal from the 1.5 yards. They go with the power looking, and again, it is Bo Bardick with the quarterback sneak, a second touchdown on that play tonight. 20-14, West High takes the lead, and Bo Bardick, well, it's all the push at the front of the line right there.
Yeah, it is. It's getting off on the count, everybody together, and again, a clean handling of the snap and driving that thing in the end zone. This is an excellent job by that offensive front by West High. They're low and hard. They're keeping their feet coming. It's a wedge blocking scheme, and they get the job done.
Bardick with the 6 points on the touchdown. Will he add the 7th on the PAT? The snap is missed. Bardick retrieves it on one hop. He's looking, he rolls, he finds Van Cleven. Well, let's just make it a 2-point play. Bardick ad-libbing to Brandon Van Cleven. That makes it 22-14. Huge play there. That could be a big difference today in this game. Let's take a break. It's 22-14, 8:47 left in the AA Championship 1998. We are back at Vigilante Stadium. What started out as a beautiful night for football isn't bad, but it's gotten a little bit brisk and breezy. But the 4,000 plus who have jammed into Vigilante Stadium, they're enjoying a great championship football game. West High scoring the touchdown with the 2-point conversion, making it 22-14. 8 minutes and 47 seconds left to go in this game. Now, Coach, we've seen all the scoring in this half going this direction, the way the West is going with the fourth. Do you think the wind is aiding that direction right now?
Yes, I think it is, Andy. I'll tell you what, it's nice to have it at your back.
Sure is. With 8:47 left to play and an 8-point lead, maybe a little bit of a comfort level there right now.
Yeah.
The kickoff by number 40, John Hill, retrieved by 42 again, Hammond, and he takes it across the 30 to the 32. Let's go back down to the sideline now with Al Marks.
All right, with Frank Ursich, a member of the 1958 Helena High team. Frank, what do you think of tonight's game?
It's a fantastic game, Al. The kids are just playing their hearts out. It's a terrific football game, a championship game, what it should be.
Yeah, it looks like the momentum switched back and forth. Now it's back with Billings West.
Yeah, Billings got a strong club, and Helena's playing them tough.
Right.
There's a lot of time left, so hopefully Helena will win it.
All right, thanks, Frank. Back up to you in the booth.
Grady Simpson with the run on 1st down and 10, and he will actually lose about 1.5 yards on that. Balster, Ryan, and Van Cleve, among others, ganging up to make that tackle.
Yeah, guess who? Pat Ryan.
Brandon Van Cleve making the tackle there. Unofficially, we have him over the 100-yard mark as a running back. It's 20 carries for 103 yards as well. So a guy who plays 48 minutes and plays 48 minutes very well. 8 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. 2nd down and 11. Helena trailing by 8 points. Again, they go with the big fullback, Butella, up front in front of Grady Simpson. 2 wide receivers split. They give it to Butella. He has a little bit of an opening, and he stood up there by Pat Ryan. Also on the play is Tyler Pertz, and it looks like Eric Brady also in on that tackle.
I tell you, Pat Ryan has a great nose for the football. He knows exactly where that thing's going every play, and he gets there with a head of steam.
Brings up 3rd down for the Bengals.
3rd down and 7 yards to go. Grady Simpson with 15 carries, 74 yards on the day for number 44, the 1,400-yard rusher for the Helena Bengals. 3rd down now and 7. Plato with the play action to Peterson, looking upfield, and he has Wiggin, and Wiggin gets his feet in bounds. Great catch, and I believe that's going to be a 1st down, Coach.
I think it is, Andy. It's going to be, you want me to call it again, 6 inches?
They're looking at it, and I would bet we're going to see an official timeout right now to mark this one because it's on the other side of the field from the chains. But Wiggin has been running the out, and Flato's really been delivering that route very well tonight.
Very well. He's been just about 100% on that one this half.
Flato, who started out the game very slow, in fact, 0 for his first 3 and the interception. Let's go back down to the sideline with Al Marks with some members of last year's championship team.
We got a couple of former Billings West guys played here last year. Willie Jacobson, wide receiver, who now goes to MSU, and Chad Escrow, who now goes to U of M. Guys, what do you think of the game tonight?
It's a great game. I didn't expect this. I mean, I thought it'd be a close game, but I didn't think it'd last this long in the close game.
How about you, Willie? You caught 2 TDs last year, I guess, didn't you?
Yeah, this is a really explosive game. Got a lot of quick guys, a lot of physical guys. It's a real good game.
All right, who's going to win the Cat Grizz game tomorrow?
Bobcats.
All right, back up to you in the booth.
Oh, it's always a war when you're talking about the Cats and the Grizz. We'll see that game on KTVQ television tomorrow as well. That's a 12 o'clock start. 1st and 10 for Helena on the great catch by Wiggin. 2 backs in the backfield. They give it to the up back, and that's Simpson, and Simpson is going to get 5 yards on the play before he's finally dragged down by the feet by Eric Brady, and Chris Bailey also making part of that tackle as well.
Yeah, they've stepped up the pace here a little bit, Andy, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a tough time to get that ball, getting that ball downfield into this wind. Again, Helena High is going to have to deal with it, and we'll see what kind of a football team they have now.
It really is picking up right now. It is how I know how much this affects my golf game. We'll see how much it affects this game on 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Again, Peterson and Simpson in the backfield. The fake to Simpson. Flato with some running room. He cuts it back across the field, across the 40 to the 39. First down for Flato, and that play will go for about 15 yards on the play, and it looks like a couple Golden Bears are injured. Willis and Justin Bickham are a little slow getting up, and they're going to be attended to. Here's a look at the play on the option fake. Flato takes it in. He stiff arms Kendall Sell. Sell playing with a cast on his arm today. Flato finally brought down inside of the 39. Let's take a quick commercial break here as we have an injury timeout at the AA Football Championship. All right, back at Vigilante Stadium. They're still attending to, I believe it's Justin Bickham on the field. Kevin Willis has gotten up and he's being escorted off the field right now.
Yeah, Andy, you don't see this happen too often. 2 guys going down on the same play with knees. 2 very, very crucial positions for the West High Bears up front, especially when Helena is coming out running this football and starting to control that offensive front. Defensive front, I should say. Well, we'll see how the depth chart works.
As we have a little break here, we talk about the big weekend of football. Of course, it's the Cats and the Grizz tomorrow. You're heading up to that game as a Grizzly alum, but I bet you a part of your heart is going to be back down at Rocky Mountain College as they're playing at Dalis Stadium in their first ever playoff game with a bunch of ex-Skyview Falcons on that team.
Yes, it is, Andy. There's a bunch of guys on that team, and I'm very, very proud to know them and to be a part of their lives. My heart is with them, and so are my prayers, and I know they're going to win that one so that we can come home and watch another one in Billings next weekend.
Mike Andy, Jared Taco, Nathan Carpenter. The last time they played on that field was a pretty memorable occasion in 1995 when Skyview won the state AA championship.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. And you know, you talk about power football and kids just banging and getting after people. Those guys really, really were fun to watch in that respect.
Mr. Bickham is up and being escorted over to the sideline as they'll set the clock and set the ball down just inside the 40. Helena looking at 1st down and 10 yards to go in Golden Bear territory. 6 minutes and 39 seconds left to play in this 4th quarter. Helena trailing 22-14. Mike Hoban and Wiggin split to the right side. 2 backs in the backfield. Simpson and the speedster Peterson. Wiggin goes in motion to the top of your screen. The handoff to Peterson. Peterson skipping and sliding and looking for a hole, and that ball popped loose. That ball did pop loose. We'll see what the ruling is on this. I think West has it if it's ruled a fumble, but Peterson was looking for the ball. As we take a look at it. Nope, they're going to say he was down. 2nd down and a gain of 4 on the play.
Looked like they were trying to test the new guy that came in for West High.
Here's a look at the replay, and we'll see if the ball came out before Peterson's knee hit the ground. It's tough to tell from that angle. With the benefit of doubt, we'll say it's 2nd down and 6 yards to go. 2 receivers split to the top side of the screen. Peterson and Simpson in the backfield. Simpson takes it right up the middle, powering his way near the 1st down. Down to the 30, he'll probably be short by a yard.
It looks like it, Andy. Big decision here. What are you going to do with the football? Again, it could be, I think it's 2 down territory here, 4 down territory, excuse me. Got 2 downs to make a yard. You waste a play, you put one up, or do you go for that 1st down with the 2 plays? I think you play it safe and pound it.
Into the game for West High is number 66, Kevin Cicero, on this 3rd down. And Kevin Flato's got the room on the option inside the 20, jumps over a tackler down to the 17. They run the option to the right side, and Flato gets another big 1st down. Kevin Flato's doing it with his legs on the option, and they are moving it.
Yeah. Yeah, he does an excellent job. Like you said before, Andy, he's a big part of that running game at Helena High School. Look at that guy. He's got to put that ball away a little better. But I'll tell you what, when you're 6'6", 185 pounds, you must have big hands, too.
Flato with 85 yards passing. He's also carried the ball 7 times for 36 yards. 2 big runs on this series. We are nearing the 5-minute mark. In fact, we are at the 5-minute mark right now. 1st and 10 inside the 20, down at about the 17-yard line for Helena. The give to Simpson. Simpson will be hauled down from behind by Pat Ryan. Ryan got a handful of jersey and wasn't going to let go.
No, he's got some grippers, I'll tell you what. And you're not going to get away from that thing.
Here's a look at the replay again. And the give to Simpson, he tries to bust out the right side, but Ryan jumps over a blocker and is able to haul him down with a little help from Matt Whalen and company.
That's right. Eric Brady turned that play outside. It was designed to go inside, but Eric got some upfield push and forced Grady outside with that football. And West High was able to converge on that thing and make a big play.
We are getting down to crunch time in a serious way. 4 minutes and 17 seconds left to go in this 4th quarter. 2nd down and 7. Helena at about the 15-yard line. Flato, the give to Peterson. He's got a little bit of room to run over there. Cuts it back inside the 10, down to the 5, and he's finally dragged down at the 6-yard line. And that should be another 1st down. It will be 1st down and goal for the Helena High Bengals with 4:03 left to play.
Very nice play. Good play, Andy, by the Helena High Bengals there. They got some blockers out in front of Mr. Peterson, and he uses them very well. Big plays. They're down inside the 10-yard line to the 6. Another factor in the game here, I see Mr. Willis. Kevin Willis has come back into the game, and it's good to see that his knee is okay.
Under 4 minutes to play now, 3:51 and counting as the wind is really howling. The 4,000 Helena faithful on their feet. The give to Simpson up the middle, and he is going to be met by a wall of linebackers. And I bet number 3, Pat Ryan, is there on that tackle. But it's going to be good for about a gain of 2, setting up 2nd down and 4, 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line, and the clock down to the 3:30 mark in counting.
They're scoring territory, Andy, again. You're 2nd down, you're inside the 5. Inside, outside, off tackle. I think that's what Helena High's thinking.
The 2 receivers are split up to the left side of the screen. Again, it's Peterson and Simpson in the backfield. Simpson with the carry. Simpson into the end zone. Touchdown, Helena High with 3:09 left to go. Making it 22-20. Simpson in from 6 yards out on the carry. And now it comes down to a 2-point conversion.
That's right, Andy. You know, they're attacking the bubble. West High, when you line up in a 4-down line front, you're going to have a few bubbles. You're going to have an inside bubble and an off-tackle bubble, and they're attacking them and seeing what kind of push they can get. Again, the offensive line for Helena High getting off very well. Grady Simpson staying low and hard. I'll tell you, he has some pushers. No wonder he has 1,444 yards.
88 yards tonight in that touchdown. We hate to say the game hinges on this play, but this 2-point conversion is big. 22-20. 4 receivers in the set for Helena, sending a man in motion. The fake, the give, 2 fakes. Flato still has the ball, and he's got a lot of room to run, and he dives into the end zone. What an athletic play. We are tied 22-22, and that's what you need from an athlete right there.
Andy, I'll tell you what, John Elway in the Super Bowl, Kevin Flato in the Montana AA Championship game. I tell you, he can get up in the air. Did you see the hang time he has?
He's a great basketball player, I know that. We are all tied up. Let's take a commercial break. We'll come back for the final 3 minutes, tied at 22. All right, 3 minutes and 9 seconds left to go in the 4th quarter. Tied up 22-22. Are we staring overtime in the face of this 1998 AA championship? The kick by Ben Chait. It's going to be fielded by Brandon Van Cleve at the 25 to the 30. Van Cleve looking to pick a hole down to the 35-yard line. Let's quickly go down to the sidelines. Al Marks with an injury report.
All right, those 2 injured linemen, Kevin Willis for Billings West. Evidently, he has a cramp. Also, Justin Bickham looked like a knee injury, but you saw that Helena High drive. Those 2 are out, and the Bengals went down and scored. Right back up to you.
All right, 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Willis did come back in and play. Bickham has not been back in. And Bickham's another two-way player, a very important part of this West High team. First down and 10, the give to Van Cleve. He is met by Butala, but he's able to spin off of that tackle and out to the 40-yard line, gain of about 5 yards.
Yeah, Brandon does a nice job of getting, like I said, you know, you got your line yards and you got your back yards, Andy. The line yards are those yards that you get from your blocking scheme and not being touched. The yards you get after that, after your first hit, those are back yards. He gets a few there.
Second down and 5. The receivers to the top of the screen. They give it up the middle again. And again, it's Butala. We've been calling his name all night long. He stops Brandon Van Cleve after a gain of a yard.
Yes, he's doing a great job. Handoff. Brandon Van Cleve trying to find a place to go. Can't find it, but he puts his pads down and tries to get as much as he can. It's just that Zach Rutai is down there with him and making a great tackle.
Number 45 has earned his keep today at middle linebacker.
I guess so. He deserves that steak.
Third down and 3.5 yards to go for West High. The receiver split to the top of the screen. Bardick dropping back. He's looking, and he was looking for Ryan, and it's incomplete, a little bit too far to the outside. That was actually intended for Patrick, I believe. I'm sorry to make my correction myself.
Yeah, Josh Patrick out there in the flat. Just a little bit overthrown. Again, Helena High is really showing a lot of emotion in this last 3 minutes. They're hustling to their coverages. They're getting there and doing a nice job. And so is West High on that two-point conversion. They had everybody covered. Just as Justin Plato was one guy they forgot about.
Here's the punt from Patrick. He gets it away at the 35. It's a pretty good punt. Simpson takes it at the 18, and he steps out of bounds at the 20. West High unable to get a first down on that possession. We are at 1 minute and 51 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter of the AA championship game, and we are all knotted up at 22. Now, you're talking about the wind and the conditions and what this means as to how far do you think they have to go to be able to get into field goal range for Mr. Benchate?
Well, you know, he has a good leg. I think anytime you can get it up around near that 20-yard line with this kind of a wind, you have a chance. Further than that, it's got to be one heck of a kick. But 2 minutes to get it down there with the running game could be a little difficult.
A fumble. Simpson fumbled, and it looks like West High has come up with it. Simpson stripped as he comes into the line of scrimmage, and now it's just a fight underneath the pile to see who's going to come up with it. And is this the big turnover? Willis, back from the injury, says yes, it is. We're waiting for the official decision, and it is a first down. West High, they get the turnover. Grady Simpson turns it over. West High getting the strip. West High taking it over at the 23. You take a look at it right there. The strip was made by Willis. Willis pops it loose, and it looks like it's going to be Pat Ryan or Matt Whalen. There's a bunch of
digging. Matt McManaman is in there digging.
What
got a whole bunch of them in there digging. We can't exactly see who got her, but it's a big turnover for the West High Bears. Again, like you said, Andy, turnovers could tell the story.
What a big turnover. First and 10. Brandon Van Cleve now sidestepping inside the 20 down to the 18. 140 and counting now. Second down and 6. An unbelievable championship game. I'm almost beginning to think that when we, KTVQ, broadcast the championship games, it's just meant to be a classic. We've had 2 of them. This is going to be the 3rd one, no doubt about it. 127 and counting.
Yeah, it's Danny. I'll tell you, the last several years of state championship football games have been the ones to beat you. I'm glad I'm here.
Second and 6, 2 receivers to the top of your screen. Van Cleve, the lone back. Bardick dropping back, looking upfield all day long. He's got Rafato inside the 10, down to the 6, and that is where he's going to be dragged down. We are at 1 minute and 4 seconds. Clock stop with the first down, but they are now well in field goal range for Bardick. And Helena High needs to come up with a play right now. Helena needs to make the play.
That's for sure. Michaels, McManaman, Cicero, Balster, I'll tell you what, they're doing a great job up front on that play, keeping Helena High away from Mr. Bardick.
Mr. Bardick topping the 200-yard mark with that pass to Rafato. Rafato, a big day. First and goal from the 6-yard line. The give to Van Cleve. He is going to be brought down. James Ask at the line of scrimmage helping out on that play, along with Jared Mergel on that one, and it's a gain of a yard there at the 5-yard line. 47 seconds and counting. 45 now.
Now, West High's thinking now, as you know, Andy, we want to get that clock down as far as we can. If we don't get it in running the football, we'll at least make sure that we set up that field goal with no time left.
29 seconds and counting. 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. Bardick under center. Gives it to Van Cleve. He's looking for an opening to the 5, to the 4, to the 2, to the 1. Touchdown, Brandon Van Cleve. 17 seconds left to play. West High takes a 6-point lead.
I tell you, there's a lot of happy Bears on that sideline. Look at them jumping. The stands on the other side are going crazy. This is a great, great moment for the West High football team.
Brandon Van Cleve, the senior workhorse, coming up with a big play on the touchdown. As we take a look at the replay, he just kind of picked his hole, dodged in and out of a couple spots till he could find his way to the end zone.
This is great balance and great power shown at the end. Watch him he takes 3 people into the end zone with him.
Right on the goal line. Great work by our photographers there to get that shot. And we're going to take a timeout, but let's keep it here right now. It's 28-22, 17 seconds left to go in the game, so let's keep it here, and we'll let the action speak for itself right now. West High getting the big turnover, and they're able to capitalize, and that's it's not just getting the turnovers, it's being able to make something of it.
Well, that's exactly right, Andy. They did a nice job of again, making the turnover happen. You know, that doesn't just happen. Things like that are caused by great hits, by pads that are down lower than the other guys, and then making the recovery again and now sticking it in the end zone.
Bo Bardick is going to attempt the extra point right now. As I said, 17 seconds left to play. Of course, this game is not over with yet. We've seen stranger things happen in the world of football. You see the West High students on the far side of the field are gathering, waiting to celebrate their 2nd straight state championship. They would be the first team to repeat as state champions since the 1989-90 CMR Rustlers. The kick by Bo Bardick is up, and it is good. So it's a 7-point lead, 29-22. Let's take a quick break right here at the AA State Championship football game. All right, we are back here with 17 seconds left to play. West High with a 7-point lead, 29-22. Brandon Van Cleve, 23 carries, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns for big number 34. Now we'll see what happens in the final 17. Hill with the kick. It's a squiver that is going to be fielded again by Hammond, number 42. And he gets out of bounds at the 30-yard line, 4 seconds off the clock in that exchange. That's right, Andy. There's 13 seconds. You could probably get 3 plays out of this. You know, if you got something up your sleeve, you better pull her out of there now. Helena, this is it. Helena High still has its timeout, so there's no concern there. They can stop the clock, so they can throw it down the middle of the field. They don't have to look towards the sidelines as a way to stop the clock. No, they can't use that route. It's a matter of go to the end zone now, and it's a long way through that end zone. You can see West High's lined up in there. I'd call it a quarter defense. They got everybody back there. 3 receivers out to the right side. They throw it to the speedster Nate Boyd. Boyd trying to slip a tackle, and he does. He gets to the 45 to the 47-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. But 8 seconds off the clock, so this could be the final play of the game about right here. Let's take a look at the replay. Let's keep it here because they're going to come right back. Yep. Gets the ball in the hands of Nate Boyd out there. Again, the speedster from Helena, Montana, number 1 in the 100-yard dash. He does make a good job of breaking that tackle, but West High just has too many people back. Helena High has taken a timeout, but we'll keep it here because there's just probably 1 more play left to go in the game, so we'll keep it right here. It's still a long ways to go, and I'm not so sure Mr. Flato has the arm to throw it all the way down. What you're looking for here is tip or a penalty is also another big plus for the offense. That's right. You know, it's not going to end on a defensive penalty. I don't think you'll see that happen, but if he can get that ball up in the end zone, that's one heck of an arm. Well, he's got some great athletes that can try to make the play. Helena High, their first trip to the state championship since 1958, a team with Max Bacchus, the senator from Montana, Montana State coach Cliff Heisel. They lost that day to Kalispell. First time in 40 years they back in it. They need a miracle now to avoid a loss to the Billings West Golden Bears. 4 receivers to the top of your screen. Justin Wiggin, the solo receiver, to your bottom of the screen. Everybody back in a deep prevent for West High. This could be the final play of the game. Plato dropping back, great pressure, and he is going to be dropped. 1 second left to go. 1 second left to go. The West High fans are going to get this team in trouble. The West High fans have started to run onto the field. And that is what you call a quick retreat.
That's right.
Principal David Iron has taught him well.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Andy, no matter what you say about anything in this game, you've seen, you know, two teams come out and give great efforts. You couldn't ask for a better football game. It's come all the way down to the wire, and both cities can be proud of both these teams.
Superb game coming down to one last play. They put some good pressure on Flato. He throws it up deep. It's going to be picked up by Matt Whalen. Whalen takes it at the 20, the 30, the 35. He's brought down, and West High is your state AA football champion. They are repeat champions, the second year in a row that they have done it. A classic game, 29-22, and the celebration is going to be a big one.
Look at those kids out there, Andy. They're having a great time. You know, I tell you, great backers, the West High people and the Billings people for their teams. And you know, you're seeing it right now. There's a lot of people up here from Billings, Montana, and they're having a great time out there celebrating. Feel bad for the Helena High Bengals. They've come to play tonight, and they played one heck of a football game, and Tony Arndt and his staff should be very proud of them. It's just the way she goes sometimes.
So many questions at the start of the year for this West High football team. How would they replace John Edwards? How do you replace Pat Carahasson and Willie Jacobson? How do you replace some of the big members of that offensive front? And they had all the answers all year long, this team did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And there you go. This is a great sign of what kind of team they have. There's several of those West High Bears down there trying to find some Helena High guys to pat on the back. And you know, they're true competitors. They've seen some kids step into those lineups, like Coach Claybo said, and really make a difference in this team.
We've talked about Helena. You talked about the great effort they had in this. Just 2 losses this season, one to Helena Capital, and then this loss in the championship game. And talk about the job that Coach Arnston's done. This program had been down in the depths, and now they are a playoff contender year in and year out.
Even the first couple of years he took her over, Andy, you know, they were very competitive football teams. They started out strong, ended up losing a few again, and then starting out weak and finishing strong. And this year, they took a football team all the way to the championship game.
All right, we'll be back here at Helena Vigilante Stadium. West High's your state AA football championship, or champion, winning it over Helena High, 29-22.